Are we live?
Yo, what up, Wowzer G?
I don't know.
That's the first time we started a podcast with those words.
Are we live?
I think we are.
Mid-topic podcast, all things Nintendo. Yeah!
Hey, welcome. Welcome. That's not the music. Welcome.
We ain't
to-
never gonna do it
Oh,
right.
what a strong opening.
Yeah.
I like that.
Damage.
I think I do have emotional damage after that.
Emotion. Yeah.
All right.
Now take a deep breath.
That is how we start the podcast every Friday night.
Faces here, so let it show. It's time to get your dance and your smile.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I started too
I'm
early.
feeling happy with New Topics Podcast. I feel like dancing with New Topics Podcast. It's been a hard week,
But I feel better now.
It's time to flow with
Come on.
the New
Yo,
Topics
yo, yo.
Podcast.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm feeling happy with New Topics Podcast.
All right. Welcome to the Nintendo Topic Podcast. It is Friday, February 7th, 2025. We are about 30 minutes late, 20 minutes late, but that's okay. We made it. It's Friday night, and we are here to spend the weekend with the best crew ever and the best chat ever. So I want to thank everyone for being here tonight with us. Without further ado, I want to introduce the cast tonight, starting with the one, the only, the network, the Gale, the Paul.
Better
How's
call
it going,
Paul.
everyone? Ready to talk some Legend of Zelda?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing
Oh,
my
yeah.
Twilight Princess shirt in
Nice.
celebration today.
Yes.
And the down below, I don't know how you guys are seeing. Are we seeing it right? Paul is on this side, and then Joyce's on this side, and then we have Lily on this side. Am I right?
Yep.
This side,
Yeah.
and then Zach is on like this corner,
Yep.
right?
I'm closer to that side.
On this side,
No,
This
that side.
that side.
No. Further,
The dark
further
side.
that way. We have cookies.
Cookies.
And Zach Hendricks, how you doing? Zach Hollywood.
I am doing well, doing very well. I'm not going to bore everyone with the details, but it has been a productive work week for me these last 2 weeks, and I've finished a bunch of small stuff up, and I'm getting to the point where I don't really have to worry about small one and done things, and I'm getting recurring clients, which is freeing up my time. But since my time is just now getting freed up, I did pull a 41-hour work day Monday,
my.
Tuesday. So that was really fun. But no, it is a good week. Tomorrow is my birthday after midnight here. So I will be turning 30 fun. The theme of the party is going to be Baskin Robbins because they have the 31 in the logo.
Nice.
And after
to be young.
After the podcast, I'm going to be streaming Smash like I normally do, but it is a special birthday party stream. I'm going to obviously be on until after midnight, so that way I can bring in the birthday with you guys. So feel free to tune in for that because it would mean a lot.
All right. Thank you so much, Zach Attack Birthday Boy. And over to Hyrule, we got two residents in Hyrule right now. One is cutting the grass, one is mowing the grass. Well, they're both the same. Cutting the grass and mowing the grass are the same thing. One is watering the flowers, and the other one is cutting the grass. So I'm going to go over to the mowing the flowers first. Lady Hyrule, how are you?
I'm doing better, thank you. I'm sorry I was not able to join last week, but I mean you were in great hands as usual with an amazing cast, and I hope you had a lot of fun. But I'm feeling way better. It was a very productive week. A lot of things that I was feeling a little bit sad for a few things, but then when usually when that happens, that means that everything is about to get better. And
yes.
that's exactly what happened. So I'm very very happy about that. Gaming wise, I haven't been playing that much, except Skyward Sword. So I am going through Skyward Sword HD, and then I'm gonna go with the Minish Cap, and I'm gonna follow the timeline. And it's gonna be pretty much kind of getting used to the timeline again and Legend of Zelda. Very happy that we're having finally Zelda.
Finally.
So it's ideal. And then I'm also about to beat Resident Evil 4 finally.
Awesome.
It has been collecting dust for a very long time. So I'm currently on chapter 16. So that's pretty much done. But yeah, that's what I've been doing the entire week. And yeah, that's it.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Lily. And glad to have you back in the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we got all of them Hyrule. The one upstairs. There's no lower third, so I can't
Hey,
really.
neighbor.
So every single time you say like Hollywood, I know it's me. But then the second you say Hyrule, I'm like, who's it gonna be? Who's it? Like, we got two of them.
Oh, and then we got
Awesome.
Miyamoto's brother and Furukawa's son. So then we have here. I don't know what she's doing today because there's no lower third to tell me what she's doing. Oh, did I just take it out myself? Wait, I think I just turned it off.
You took out her.
I have no idea.
Well,
what's
hey, there's
going
people
on,
who
just
are
so you know.
listening to us and they never see the lower thirds.
We got
They probably don't even know what a lower
What's a
third
lower
is.
third?
the one, the only Joycey J.
Hi, I'm Joycey J. I am Zelda's mama. I don't mow lawns.
No,
I don't cut grass. I don't know why Lily's mowing the flowers. I don't know why we're mowing flowers.
I never said I was doing that, but yeah, Mike said it.
Yeah, Mike. We don't mow the flowers in Hyrule. We only cut the grass.
it's what I see. It's what I saw in my imagination.
I
Imagination.
think after getting the Master Sword, there's like 62 silent princesses you can pick up.
Yeah.
But you don't want to cut them. You want to pick them up and put them in vases.
Not in
Yeah.
Minecraft.
Yes.
Minecraft is just
Use
run
your-
over them.
Yeah, see, that's why Zelda's not Minecraft. See, y'all got to use your wisdom.
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 They
Honestly,
wisdom.
that's the best introduction of Joycey we could get. Just Zelda facts.
Right? Wisdom.
Zelda facts and shade. I love Zelda and I don't cut grass.
But wait, hold on.
That's it.
They wisdom. And basically, this is the perfect kind of celebrating 1 month as a member, Meridian 785. And how are y'all doing? We just said it just now. There you go. Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Woo!
Thank you so much for your support here. Membership for 1 month. All right.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think it's because oh no, never mind. Yeah, he I thought Boomini was already gifting membership. I was like, oh my gosh, she's on fire.
Yeah. I think it was the one of
It
the
was him.
past streams. Yeah, one of the past
Yeah.
streams.
But just let her get warmed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Just like doing this, like warming her fingers to type in very quickly.
oh yeah, we mean Mini.
Yeah.
So my friends, it is a Zelda podcast. You are not mistaken. You saw Zelda in the title, in the thumbnail, and I'm sorry I forgot to schedule the stream today. Been a very busy day with a lot of business, Indie Mania stuff, good stuff behind the scenes going on. And so we are gonna go over just over one little image, just this one image that's not Zelda related, just so that we can get some opinions and some reactions to this image, and then we'll move on to Zelda. Promise. So let's go ahead and do that right now because we're gonna have a really good Zelda podcast. We haven't had one in a while, and I think it's time. I think it's time to because whenever we go into Zelda, just a little bit into other in other podcasts, we everybody wants to just take over, and talk more about it, including me. And today we're gonna do this that we're gonna let it all go. All right, let me see here, and there is this little image right here, as you guys can see on screen. This, my friends, this was found in a patent by Nintendo, over on WIPO. I think that's the Japanese version of the of the patent website for the government. And so, just to give you a really quick sum up, in that patent had all of the images of the Nintendo Switch 2 in its entirety. Okay, but this image was there also. Not only that image, but also, let me see here. We have here that image. This is see the Nintendo Switch 2 controller. We have this image here, there, and this controller here, which is the weirdest thing ever. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I mean, what I think it is, and then I'll let you guys throw something at it. Let me know what you guys think it is. I think that Nintendo is still Nintendo, and if this is what I think it is, then I am gonna be super ecstatic because that's Nintendo, right? Nintendo has always, from NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo Switch, and hopefully Nintendo Switch 2, they have given us their own unique controller. One controller at least, right? I know that the Wii U and the Nintendo Wii Switch controller, Pro controller, they look the same. Although the Wii U looks like it has curves, it has trunk on it, like a junk in the trunk or whatever. And the Pro controller from the Nintendo Switch looks more traditional, right? More traditional. I think Nintendo's being Nintendo, and they're giving us another Pro controller, but it looks completely different from everything we've ever seen. And not only that, but this Pro controller comes in two pieces that you can literally magnet together, put it together, and it'll just snap together in the middle, and you can just play with it as a Pro controller. Or you can separate it. And by the way, it does have a mouse feature on one of the sides, on the right side. It does have a mouse feature so that you can use it also as a mouse. That's my theory. Now I want to throw it out there. Lily, what when you see this, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What do you think?
I honestly, this is my first time seeing this,
Mhm.
and also I don't really understand when it comes to patents. So
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you, I don't understand. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Looking at the shape,
Mhm.
I guess we're gonna get they're gonna be separated, like two, one for the right and one for the left. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Is it a full controller?
It's a full controller. Yeah, it's a full controller. And let me see if I can get you another image. But this is the full controller.
Yeah.
You
'Cause
can what
uh-huh.
the right side has a little sensor on this side there where you can also use it as a mouse. So let me go ahead here
Yeah.
and type on X Nintendo Switch Wisdom to patent. See if I can get more images of that here. But yeah, maybe this guy shared more pictures. Okay, so
Oh,
you see here how you can use the Switch 2 Joy-Con as a mouse now because it has a little
yeah.
thing here. So you can actually use that other controller just like that, but you'll be holding it like a gun, down like that. I don't know. Let's see if we have another one here. This
Oh,
one
I
here.
think it's down there.
Yeah, there you go. Here we are. Here you go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you see how you use it here and put it down and use it like a mouse. That's how you'll be using that controller there. And then of course you use it. It just looks weird a little bit. I mean, when you're holding it together, if I'm right, and it does have some type of magnetic here. I don't think it's electromagnetic. I think it's just regular strong magnets where you can kind of push it together, and it's a pro controller, just like regular, right? And you can separate them and then use it like that, right? So that's just a theory that I have. What do you think about the design? If this is the pro controller, what are your thoughts on it? Are you happy with it? Is it interesting? Is it?
I have to see colors and
Yeah, right.
the aesthetic of it.
Mhm.
No, I think it's ergonomically speaking, it does seem comfortable.
Yeah.
It feels like it's going to be a little bit weird, like with the mouse. Like
Mhm.
you have a lot of ergonomic mouses right
Yeah.
now, or mice at the moment, and they look very weird. But when
Uh-huh.
you start using it, it makes sense the way it moves. So
Mhm.
that's what I feel about this. My only concern will be the buttons. I don't see them as big as a pro controller, so I wouldn't really think it's a pro controller, meaning like like an upgraded version of the Joy Cons, or a more professional one versus the regular ones that are included with the Switch 2, or the ones that are going to be included with the Switch 2, the Joy Cons. But yeah, they look. It looks. I mean, very interesting. I'm not gonna know until I see colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Paul?
I think it's cool. I mean, it's a similar design as a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, or what Nintendo has done in the past, in the sense that you've got a prong on the left, a prong on the right, something that they've been doing since the Nintendo 64 era, although that was 3. So really kind of like GameCube on. It fits that. This isn't the exact layout, but it's close enough. So, if you look at old patents and how the controllers came out, okay, now they've got the color, kind of like Lily is saying. The analog stick is raised and the buttons are more pronounced, and it would look, of course, different. But the fact that it would snap apart like this is kind of like bridging the gap between the Joy-Con and the Pro Controller of last generation. And then maybe instead of having that, connector, you would just have this. But buying a Pro Controller would double up as, Joy-Cons. And then this way, if you're playing in portable mode or docked mode, you have one more way to play, or tabletop mode. I think it's cool. I think the interesting thing is, if they're going out of the way to put the sensor in the controller itself, then they definitely want to have that used in more games. That's kind of what I'm reading.
Yeah.
And here's sort of why. The IR blaster in the bottom right of the Joy-Con on Nintendo Switch, that was exclusive to the Joy-Con, which kind of told you it's not going to be used too much overall, because if it was very important, it would be in the Pro Controller. They would have found a way to also do that. So clearly, this thing's got to have an analog stick. It's got to have motion. It's got to have rumble tech. It needs an NFC, but it didn't have that IR camera, so not integral. This, if they're going out of the way that in the Pro Controller they're having these little lasers to simulate the mouse, I think you're going to see a good amount of Nintendo first-party games utilize the mouse. You could say, like, why didn't Nintendo put the IR blaster in the Pro Controller? Well, they probably already knew ahead of time, like, it's something cheap, something fun, we'll use it, but not important. This seems like an important thing now, more so. I'm pretty excited. I want to see, like, what the actual thing looks like. How does it feel? Would the back be possibly like, the GameCube, or would it?
Yeah.
What is the groove? Because that's always
What's the ergonomic feel like in the back? Yeah. But if you look at this controller here, the layout, right? You look at the joysticks, they match that image, and Nintendo with that D-pad thing. I don't know why they're kind of moving away from it. So the bottom D-pads will be those 4 buttons on the bottom, and then you have the other D-pads on top, and then you have the cross joysticks, right? And you can't see it there, but it does have 2 trigger buttons on top on there. So it's crazy cupcakes. What do you think, Joycey?
So, ooh, excuse me. I have
Yeah.
a question. So,
Yeah.
is it supposed to? It's supposed to like possibly connect together?
I mean, that's a theory. That's just a theory. We don't know yet. Um,
Um.
yeah, it doesn't. The patent doesn't say it. It just shows it.
So it's very possible that this is not the actual design for the Pro controller. It could be patenting, some of these other buttons and doohickeys on
yeah,
here, right?
yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Okay, then in that case, I'm okay with it because I'm hoping, or at least I believe, the intention is kind
Mhm.
of like it was with Switch One. We're going to include the controllers with it, their Joy Cons, and you can play it. You can hook it together like
Yeah.
with that other thing. I know this is supposed to
Uh-huh.
be like a Switch 2 Pro controller, but I don't think that this would be the final look.
Uh-huh.
I think I honestly think that Nintendo is going to give us a different style Pro controller, and I
Yeah.
do think it's going to be a little bit bigger and a little bit more ergonomic looking. I don't think this is the final design because
Okay.
even though Nintendo's good for crazy controllers,
Yeah.
I don't see the vision right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Patents again. Like I always tell my viewers, patents only tell part of a story. They don't tell the complete story. They might be showing you something within it that is pointing towards the feature, not the actual design. Although in this particular patent, the rest of the Nintendo Switch 2 is completely there, like in form factor and everything, design wise. And then this stands out from everything else. This is like you know what I mean? So what do you think, Zach? What are your thoughts?
You know, for me, like it's weird. It's super weird. Like I look at it, but I like when Nintendo's weird. I'm very focused on the like light gray dotted lines between like the handle part and the part with the buttons, like the top and bottom of the controller. And I noticed that that's still there even in the handheld mode. So thinking about what Joycey said and how that might be showing functionality of something and it might look different, that's cool. But I'm thinking about the fact that a lot of people are saying it looks like the Virtual Boy controller.
Yeah.
I see that, and so I'm like, oh, it would be cool if this was for Nintendo
Oh,
Switch Online.
I may
But
look it up.
it really is cracking me up because I have a laser thermometer
Mm-hmm.
that is
Oh
like
yeah,
the same
exactly.
general shape as that. So like it's like a laser pointer, like you can like measure the temperature of things across
Can
the
you
room.
imagine? Can you imagine?
But
You
it
can
looks
check your temperature.
just like this. And so, I'm just thinking about like I was like, could I play my games like with that thermometer? Like how would that
Yeah.
feel in my hand? I can go like test the ergonomics of this later.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, what I do think I really like about it, if this is it's a real design, isn't it's really something they patented, but I mean like the real design of a controller that comes out,
Yeah.
is I think I'm a little weird, but when I play my Switch games
A little.
docked, I have
Yeah,
my
right?
Joy-Cons
I was gonna say
separated,
just a little bit.
and I'm a lot of it, but let's see, my nameplate's like in my way, so I'm trying. I have my Joy-Cons separated, and I'm usually playing like this. So like one
Oh yeah.
Joy-Con there.
Yeah.
And that's like my go-to like when I'm gaming or I'll just be like chilling and like instead of using a Pro controller, I'm just
Yeah.
lazy and lounging and just got the Joy-Cons just like one over here, one over here. I just play them individually.
Now
And
imagine
so-
how easy that would be to just stick it on your lap and move around.
Right.
But so like with those handles, I could see that
Yeah.
maybe being more comfortable in the long run.
Yeah. You think that this could be another separate pair of controllers that come inside the controller with the system, or something is sold separately?
I think they bundle this with a brand new operating game, and this teaches people how to become doctors and perform surgery.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like,
Operation, or
I
how to
honestly
take
have no
temperatures.
clue because they showed us the main Joy-Cons already in the trailer,
Yeah, they do, and they show the Joy Cons, and they showed and in this patent, like I showed you, they show the controllers exactly how they are in the
Mhm.
trailer. They show the screen exactly how it's in the trailer. Everything but the dock. Everything what they haven't showed the dock in the trailer. They just showed like the front of it. So that has secrets too. But man, it's crazy.
Question.
Go ahead.
I apologize, not question.
Mhm.
More of a comment, and somebody just brought it up, and it's like, oh, I meant to say that.
Uh-huh.
On the part where it looks like they're using part of the Pro controller or Joy-Con or whatever it is as a mouse, it's
Yeah.
almost like your wrist is lifted too high.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Like I was like, would that be comfy?
I mean,
But
unless
then
you take
again, is it final design?
And
so,
if
yeah,
those
exactly. I agree with that part. It could be. This could not be the final design. Maybe that person is just checking somebody's temperature. You know, they're just
That's
laying
a
like
down.
very
if
good
that
point.
light gray dotted line is more just separating and saying there is a handle down here, and that's not actually the shape of it too, then
Yeah.
like that might not.
Mhm.
It's very interesting. I'm gonna go get my thermometer.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Blue Mini, for that gift and membership. We appreciate you are the queen of gifted in this chat, and I appreciate you a lot. And who claimed it? Did we get a claimer? Claimer?
Huh?
Whoever claimed it, welcome, welcome. All right, so this is the what we want to talk about, just to bring it up, give some opinions, because this was new. Everything else in the patent was we knew already. We saw that the controllers. The one thing the patent didn't have was the C button feature. Very conveniently, it didn't show the C button or what it does at all. Everything else was there, but the C button. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's see what Nintendo does. To me, it's interesting that it was there with everything else. Um, and yeah, Nintendo Switch 2, April 2nd. Let's stay tuned. I already predicted that the release date will be May 23rd, which is a Friday, which is it's exactly 50 days from reveal to release, just like Nintendo Switch reveal to release. And so May 23rd is a Friday, just like the release of Nintendo Switch back in 2017, also a Friday. May 23rd, get your calendars ready. You ready if you're gonna pre-order? Make sure you got your money by April 2nd. And let's move on to the main topic of the day, which is the wisdom. The wisdom. Zelda, our beloved Zelda, is the protagonist of this game. Can you guys see the game? I don't know if you can see it yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I'm not even sharing my
not
screen.
yet.
I'm not even sharing my screen. What's wrong with you? Okay, so here we got the wisdom. Woo! We'll have that playing in the background while we talk about Zelda, so we can be inspired and all that stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick summary of what we know from the game, and just let you know, how long did this game come out? How long ago?
Was it September or it was September?
Of last year, right? Last year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we've had enough time to guard and not talk about spoilers and stuff. Today, we're talking about everything, baby, everything of the game. All right. So let's start out with this quick summary of the game. All right. So The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. In this action adventure, Princess Zelda is the main playable character. Her first game ever. It's history, guys. For Zelda fans, it's a big deal. The story begins with Link rescuing Zelda, as you see on screen right now, from Ganon. But during the escape, Link falls into a mysterious rift and disappears into the still world. That's what they call the world, the underground, the still world. I like that. Zelda, now free, must use the tri-rod. I call some people call it the tree rod. The tri-rod. Am I saying correctly? A magical artifact given to her by the fairy Tri. I'm calling her Tri because of the Triforce. Am I correct, Joyce here in Italy?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. To create echoes, imitations of objects and monsters that she can use to navigate and fight. As Zelda journeys through Hyrule and the Still World, she encounters various characters and creatures, including imposters, virgins of Hyrule's king, and his advisors. She must repair the rifts, defeat bosses, and ultimately confront No. When I first saw no, I thought that the developer just forgot to put the name in there. You know how I have to be honest. I'm like, I actually restarted my game. Like, man, I think this is broken. No. And
Hey,
yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick.
Yeah.
Different Zelda game, but that's how I felt in Tears of the Kingdom when fighting Ganondorf. It was like his second phase,
Yeah.
and the bar just kept going and
Yeah.
going, and it goes off the screen.
Oh.
My game is broken. It's bugged.
So yeah, it's Null, a primordial evil that has been creating these riffs and echoes. S- Sidebar, Null existed before time, so it's like he was outside of time,
Yep.
and the three goddesses created the planet, the Hyrule, and everything. Created everything to defeat Null and to cast Null away, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was new, right? That's part of the story is new to the timeline or to the story of
Yes.
Zelda.
Yes, and
Yes.
some foreshadowing for some conversation later. There
Yeah.
are some other characters who remind me of Noel that also existed before time in Zelda in Nothing But Darkness.
Maybe that's what that we'll get that in the next, we'll get that in the next games. Zelda's goal is to rescue those trapped in the still world. I'm getting so hyped. I want to replay this game again. In the still
She
world,
went to save her man. I'm just
yeah, including she don't even know her man in this game, including Link. And
But she still went and got him. That's some loyalty right there. Okay, we're done.
for real,
Sorry, y'all.
for real. No, I agree. I mean, they're tied together. And restore peace to Hyrule. Okay, and then what do we have? We have blip, 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 blip. We got the dungeons. We got the Southern Ruins. Okay, we got the Gerudo Sanctum. We got Jabul's Ruin. We got Hyrule Castle, Elden Temple. We got like Lenaru Temple. Noel's Body is the final boss. All right, let's talk about the final boss real quick here. The final boss is Noel.
Real quick.
Real quick.
I got questions.
The final boss is Noel, which I thought it was a mistake. Being that lived in the void, Noel tries to separate Zelda and Link to make them weak and distracted. Well, there you go, JC. Because Link and Zelda are strong together, aiming to return the world to nothingness. I love that nothingness. They ran out of words. Like, what do we call before Noel? The great nothingness.
I wish they had called it like the Great Void or something like
Right?
that. Because
Right?
null and void kind of go together.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So Nintendo, please hire Joyce. You need to. You need to.
I got a script, Nintendo.
Telling you.
I wrote the Zelda script. In fact, Nintendo, we can hang out on April 25th in Dallas
Yeah.
while I'm playing Mario Kart on Switch 2. I'm just gonna casually plug my script. Okay.
All right. So battle involves breaking Noel's limbs. I don't know how limbs. I thought he was nothing. And ultimately pulling on the Triforce to defeat it because it's nothing. It's it. In the ending, Zelda and Link successfully defeat Noel, saving Hyrule. The game provides answers to long-standing questions in the Zelda series, such as why Link hasn't spoken, which is important. Okay,
It's a
but
different reason.
yeah, it is. It is
Previously given. Mhm.
for this particular game. Yeah. It also features a unique perspective by focusing on Zelda's journey. So that's basically the gist of the game and what happened. The last scene in the last scene, we bid farewell to a character that I grown to love over time. Her name. Try it name.
Right.
I don't know what it is. It's a what is this guy like on the screen now? what am I showing?
It's an ad.
It's an ad.
Like you're not Zelda. Get away from here. Is it coming back?
Maybe he wanted us to call him for a free tarot reading.
There we go.
I'm kidding. I'm
That's
kidding.
all right. So that is the game. Okay, that is the game. That's a sum up of the game. So without further ado, let the battle begin. Ding 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 ding. Zelda, you want to start?
Okay, so wait, you said Zelda. Did you mean Zelda's mama, or did you just
Yeah,
mean any of us?
Zelda's mama. Yeah, Zelda's
Well,
mama.
where do you want to start? You want to start with lore? You want to start with story? You want to start with gameplay? What do you want to start with?
Well,
Let's start with
so we have the gameplay, we have the lore, we have the story, we have the character, we have so go ahead and
for
let's
Zelda fans. That's 10-hour conversations each.
yeah. So
Approximately.
how about we start with what don't you like about the game?
That's too long of a conversation, so I'm gonna go against the grain here, and I'm gonna talk about what I did like.
It's a perfect podcast for that.
It is. Mike did say I could go ham on this one. So, what I did like was the gameplay.
Yeah.
This art style is one of those ones where I just feel like sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and lemon drops. I love all of that. It's exactly. I knew one of y'all would pick that up. I love the concept of the game, and I love what, and I've said this before, I love what the game, I love the potential and the possibilities that this game represents. I'm glad it exists, but I will be very honest, it is not one of my favorite Zelda games. It's not even in my top 10. It's probably one of the lowest for me, because I think this is one of those games they played entirely too safe with. It was so safe they used a map that we all know and like, because they've used it a few times. They gave us a concept that we all already know and like. Usually when it's a top-down Zelda, there's a light world and there's a dark world of some kind, or there's some kind of opposite or something of that nature. Also, what made the story interesting for me is, for one, it I know other games kind of display this, but this game also displays this. That it displays that this is a different Link, because there's a different reason.
Yeah.
That this particular Link doesn't talk, because in Breath of the Wild, Link talked plenty until he lost his memories, and then when he came back, and he was a little bit unhinged. If you actually pay attention to his dialogue, he's a little bit unhinged.
Yeah.
But there's an explanation in Zelda's diary why he doesn't speak. There's an explanation in Echoes of Wisdom that's different, but it makes total sense, whichever reason you use. So I do like that aspect, that little touch there. And like I said, the gameplay was fun, because it's almost like, I remember something that I think it was Miyamoto, or was it Anuma? It was one of them that said it about Breath of the Wild. The puzzle begins when you figure out what you want to do and how you're going to do it, or where you want to go and how you're going to get there. That same concept runs in Echoes of Wisdom, because if I'm in the middle of doing something, like I'm side questing, or I'm trying to kill this enemy over here or something, and something comes up behind me, I like just being able to pull out one of my, something in my arsenal, one of my monsters in my arsenal, and it's like, hey, go take care of that. I'm puzzling over here. I'm looking at something over here. I'm interacting with Stamp Guy. I'm doing something else. Go do my bidding. It's the most non-stuck up way to command people or things to do your bidding for you. And she doesn't use any nice guys. She just takes all the monsters and uses them for her own, I guess, more righteous devices, if you will. So that about it was fun. I liked being able to pick out different echoes in different scenarios. And then there were certain times where I feel like the game kind of forces you to use different echoes. I used all different levels of the bed. I didn't use all the 5 different levels of different vases and everything, but I used all the different levels of the bed. If I needed to get up somewhere high, I'd use the old one. If I needed to heal up real quick, I'd use the real fancy one that you get towards the end. I love the characters, even though I feel the characters are a bit one-dimensional, and that's okay. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go, because a lot of Nintendo characters are one-dimensional already, and Zelda has already had plenty one-dimensional characters. But I thought that there's more depth when there's a little bit more lore, a little bit more mystery, and certain things are explained. This is one of the things I really want to. I wish I could get in a room with like important people from Nintendo and explain to them from a fan's point of view why Why more story? Why more lore? Why more things for us to find outside of side quests? Only builds onto making your characters less flat and less one dimensional.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because I love the reason that Link doesn't speak. I would like to, I love that there was a reason that made sense for Zelda to be out on her own doing her own thing, and it makes sense. That part I liked. Now, and I know I read some reviews previously. They're like, oh, the art style is kiddie and the story is kiddie. The story is actually it's told in a very kiddie-ish way. Okay, I'll admit that. However, when you actually pay attention and you kind of realize like what's happening and then who the final boss is, it's kind of like there's a lot of depth there if you really want to sit there and think about it. On the surface, it's just kind of like, yay, kill the bad guy. But if you kind of think about it, how it relates to the lore, it's almost like low key.
Yeah.
The three goddesses were the ones that moved in on somebody else's territory, even though there was nothing there. That nothing belonged to somebody. So that's enough of me for now.
But that's actually a good point, though. That's it's a good point. If there was nothing there already, Noel was living there, just happily, just chilling by himself. Here comes the goddesses. You want to kick him out of his own darkness. But
and I'm sure those of y'all that have kids have experienced this when they're real small. Like they can't do anything without you. They follow their mom around or they follow dad around all the time. I was definitely the kid that followed my mom around when I was really little. And that's kind of how I feel about like some of these things in this game or whatever. It's just like it's like almost having kids like kind of follow you around. Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I go here?
Josie, I am interested. I don't know how much do you know about the behind the scenes of this game?
There's a lot of
or have you not been reading too much yet?
I know I've been reading a lot of stuff. I read a lot of the dev interviews, and the writing boot camp took me out. I was like, the way that all the reading, all the good, excellent manga, and that's just the manga, all the good stuff that they have over there, and this is how y'all tell a story. Y'all had to have a boot camp to tell this story.
Well, so do you?
Everybody go sit in the corner.
I feel like you probably do in this case since you've been reading a lot of this stuff, but I'm curious because this kind of affected how I view the game. It made some things make more sense to me.
Go for it.
The original plan was not for this to be a Zelda protagonist story.
Yep.
Link was supposed to be the protagonist through most of development, but then what they realized was, and the reason they switched from Link to Zelda was because they realized that people weren't using, like, when they were doing the play tests, people weren't using the echoes and they weren't problem solving like that. They were just using the bow and arrow and the sword and whatnot, and just chopping it down regular Zelda style. Right. And so because of that, they're like, okay, well, how can we kind of force people to use the echoes a little more and we're not putting all this time and effort into the game mechanics for people to not use the game mechanics. And so that is where they then switched to Zelda, but then gave you the mode where you could turn into, the hero. And so that kind of, like, looking back, I was like, man, a lot of these boss battles, like, they're not, like, they're kind of designed for the echoes, but they're almost more so designed for me to play like a classic Zelda boss battle and, dodge, parry with the shield, and then attack with the sword, back up, wait. And it just kind of felt a little out of place. And so when I learned that made a little more sense to me. Do you have any insight on that or any thoughts related to that?
My thought process is, because I didn't read all of that interview. I remember I bookmarked it. So now I got to go back through all my bookmarks. But I didn't read all of it. But my insight on that is, I understand that from a game developer's point of view. It's like, well, we might as well just do it the old way. We're not really bringing anything new. So let's try to introduce a well-beloved character, but we've never just had a journey with her before. So I don't disagree with you that a lot of the bosses really benefited from bow and arrow and sword. But the fact that it ran out quick enough. Not really quick, but because that power ran out quick enough, I appreciated that I had other options. Because the older Zelda games, if you run out of bombs and you run out of Deku sticks and you run out of bomb chews and arrows, okay, the chance of that happening are slim. But what I mean is, especially if you're just like running through an older Zelda game, you could run out of actual stuff.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There was really nothing you could run out of. If one echo doesn't work, try another one. Okay, that doesn't work. Try the sword. That doesn't work. Try a combination of different echoes. So I think the devs pulled that off really well, and I appreciate it. Let's do something different because I love Zelda, y'all. Nothing's gonna change about that. I'm gonna be playing Zelda until we're all at Paul's, old folks home for gamers. So, however, I want to see differences because, yes, this is not my favorite Zelda. There's certain things about it that I thought could be a lot better, but all I could think about is the potential of the future. I think we're going to get another top-down Zelda game in the future, and I think it's going to really, really knock our socks off in the way that I will always talk about Link to the Past this way. Link to the Past still knocks my socks off. Okay, so I feel that we can only go up from here, because if this is the worst, if this is one of probably the not best games, because there's really not a bad Zelda game, this one just isn't one of the great ones. It's not a Link to the Past for me, or a Link Between Worlds. It's not one of those for me, but it is a good game, and I see the potential. And I'm also going to go ahead and read this super chat from Boo Mini. Shout out to you, Boo Mini. Thank you so much for always being so supportive and hanging out with us on Fridays. And Boo Mini asks, do you think Nintendo will come out with DLC where you play as Link and it shows stuff that went on before he gets to the dungeon where Zelda is? Yo, that'd be dope. What y'all think?
It'll be awesome, but no.
They're not going to
I
do
like
it.
ideas
but
like that.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Ever since Ocarina of Time, I thought, gosh, if they ever remake this game in a grand scale, allow me that portion in between that you could play periodically as Sheik in a totally different style of game, or a whole other game for that character. But to go back to here, it would be neat. I don't know if they will, but I would definitely pick that up, because any type of thing like that, world building, sounds fun. Will they?
Yeah.
Probably not,
No.
like Mike said, but I'd be down.
I realized I was on mute. I wanted to.
Oh God, I'm sorry, girl.
No worries. No. I wanted to have this opportunity to circle back to what Joycey and Zach mentioned. So going back to what Joycey mentioned about being a very secure game, meaning that the reason why they did this is because this is the pilot. That's the way I see it. This was the pilot for them to showcase and to have the opportunity to see how the game is going to perform in terms of sales and people getting into the game. One of the things that I didn't really fully appreciate it was the fact that it was a little bit too kind of leaning towards the little ones, because there were a lot of examples of the echoes, and this is an echo that's it's going to be melted if you do something like that, or be mindful of when you use this, because it's made of fire, and make sure that you're not using it against very, very simple things that were kind of thought that way for kids, right? And that's the only thing that I felt was a little bit off for me, but it's because, of course, I've been playing Zelda for many, many years right now. But I also understand the reason why they have to do it that way. So going back to what Zach mentioned about, when they first started developing this, as we all know, and this is the truth, and we're not, even though we are huge Zelda fans, this is the truth. They always start with the gameplay and then they add the story. In the past, they have done amazingly, of course, and we're spoiled in that way, because we're always circling back to amazing games such as The Link to the Past, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, and name any Zelda game and it'll have an amazing story. But that's the way it has always been. So I know that there are a lot of Zelda tours out there, a lot of fellow creators that they have been, asking for an actual story that will connect the dots and the lore. But that's not going to happen because every single Zelda game is exactly their own entity. It's a different, and an entire different story, and entirely, heck, it's just a different Link. It's a different Zelda. It's a different storyline. It's like, it's completely different, right? So I have a feeling that's why they kind of were aiming towards that. And the reason why they decided to go with Zelda, and the reason why they decided to go something that they'll know it was going to work. And using a map that everybody knows, of course, that was their safe bet. And they did great. But not to say I do agree with you, Joycey. For some reason, even though I love the story, even though I love the game, this is not even within my top 10 favorites. So I don't think it actually falls into my top 5 favorites. I have to be completely honest, but I'm not saying that it's a bad game or a bad story. And the last thing that I wanted to add is that when they officially announced on which part of the timeline this game it takes place, they did it on the Japanese website. Now it's available on Zelda.com. So if you go into Zelda.com and you go into the About section, you have Echoes of Wisdom takes place after The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes and before The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2. So the last 2 games within the entire timeline. And we're talking about the decline of Hyrule. So basically when the hero is defeated. So after Ocarina of Time, that's when either the hero is defeated or the hero is triumph. If the hero is triumph, then that's when the timeline splits. And then we know, what happens with Hyrule when it gets flooded or when it doesn't. But this is this falls into the hero when the hero is defeated. And yeah, I guess that's enough of me, saying or rambling about it. But yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
So
There's never enough. Can I ask a real quick question?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want to ask a real quick question. This is for everybody. So how would y'all feel if we got a Zelda game? So next big Switch 2 Zelda game. There's you could light stuff on fire and throw bombs, all the same usual goodness. But would you all play the game where, let's just say, Link is not saving the princess. The princess is already saved. She's chilling at Hyrule. In fact, Hyrule is fine. Link goes on this own mysterious quest to find out about him and those before him, all the Links, and go on. And you guys know I've been talking about stuff like this forever because that's a whole switch up to the story. We don't have to argue and ship people who don't need to be shipped together. We don't have to do any of that. We just learn about what happened to the hero of time. Do we have ideas and glimpses? Twilight Princess gives you a very big glimpse, but how did we get there? Ocarina of Time. How did we get to what the events of Twilight Princess that I'm not mentioning, y'all, because in case y'all don't know, Mike hasn't finished it yet, and I want him to experience what we're talking about.
Which one?
There's a hint to what happened to Ocarina of Time Link and Twilight Princess, and don't worry, you won't miss it.
Talked about it on another podcast.
But I don't want to remind him.
Yeah, but the thing is that by the time the podcast ends, there's a chance I probably forget. So, I
don't want to mention it.
I already forgot what everybody said really today. So,
okay, good. So you don't need to know that part anymore.
But
a brand new. We still have a new game. We still have. We get dungeons. We can get unique items. We can still craft our weapons or steal weapons or whatever. We still get to beat up stuff, and we can have a whole story on. We know why the hero has to exist, but what happens to all these links and why meet up in different realms of time and things of that nature? Almost kind of running around in old games in a way, but with the Switch 2 flair. Nintendo, use your lore to your advantage. We love Zelda, we love Link. We love Link and Zelda together. As friends or as anything else, we love it. But it's okay to move away and tell a different story because let's keep it real. We've been saving Zelda for about 40 years now.
Yeah.
Can she hang on her own for a little bit like she did in Majora's Mask and Link's Awakening? She can hang out on her own. She'll be all right. Let's go discover something else. There's just too much good stuff in Zelda as a whole to not try to find out something else. So
Yeah. So I wanted to follow up with what Lily said because that it was a I good input there because I always thought that the way they positioned this game and the story of it made it like the first game even before Skyward Sword, you know. So I'm like because they go back all the way back to nothingness, to the void, and before Hyrule was created, before everything was created, and then in order to cast out Null, everything was created, and the world exists to keep Null out in a way, and so and this is question is for Lily, and this is for my education. So basically, this is not the first game in the line. It's just that during this period, Null just reappeared
Correct.
Correct.
during that timeline. So it's not really the first. It's just that Null reappeared during that timeline. Because and then again to what Joyce's saying, this is a new story. You know, well, I mean, we do fight Ganon in the beginning, but we don't fight him at the. We do fight him at the end again, as a thing. We don't fight him. It's not the final battle. It's not about Ganon. You know, so
because Ganon, I don't feel even knows who Null is.
yeah, I mean, nobody knows what Null is. He's nothing. He's nothing.
But what I mean is, Ganon is, I think, when you really pay attention to what we can put together for a personality for Ganon, he really thinks that he's the one. He's the most awesome of awesome and everything else. I love that scene with Impa, by the way. I just love seeing Impa just beat up people or bad people. Anyway,
Yep.
so I want to make that clarification. Bad people. Go for it, Mike.
No, I want to go to I'm gonna go to Zach to go over what you got. Well, did you finish the game, Zach? You finished, right?
Yes, I did. I'll let them talk a little more. I've been like writing notes based on what people are saying,
Yeah.
and I'm like 90% done with. Where I take it is going to be a completely different direction, so I want to stay here a little longer before I tie this game to.
Let me ask this
Tears of the
question first.
Kingdom
Let me ask this
and
question first.
Majora's Mask.
Has everybody in the podcast finished the game?
Paul has not, so he's been dipping in and out.
Yeah.
Oh, so Paul, you haven't finished the game yet? I thought he finished it.
Nope.
Okay, so he's like muting in and out.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead, Zach.
Okay. So, which I know Lily and Joycey maybe have already done this.
Do it again.
Have you read the Majora's Mask manga?
Yes.
No.
You have not?
I think I own it. I think. Is it
So-
one of the ones in the treasure chest one?
So can I screen share really quick? Because I want to
Absolutely not.
Let me.
All
Yeah,
right.
go ahead. I'll highlight it here. Go ahead.
Cool. Let me do so I don't lose. I have my notes on my left screen. All right. So, I have to go to the podcast to screen share. I'm excited. I've been thinking about this all week. Okay.
I'm so excited too now.
Share screen.
You just can't hide it.
Sharing screen is easiest with two monitors. Blah, 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 blah. Wait, does it not? Oh, okay.
I'm dressed as Mario for a Zilla podcast.
So, can we see this?
Yes.
So, in the
Not
manga.
yet.
Not yet.
You can't see
Oh,
that.
not-
Until there you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Okay. So, in the manga, this is one of Majora's true forms. Majora's a dragon. Why are we talking about a dragon, Zach? Well, we have some dragons in some new Zelda games that are kind of important. But when we play Majora's Mask, Majora transforms quite a bit, you know? And there's a lot of importance in these masks, in these transformations, but we don't know anything about Majora's origin until we get to this manga, which is not necessarily canonical, but it could be, but there's some differences. This dragon, Majora, existed before time, existed before existence. Majora's whole goal was to preserve nothingness. And when we play Majora's Mask, I shared a tab instead. I meant to share my entire window. I gotta change that now. Majora. But when we play Majora's Mask, we see Majora.
Okay, Paul. I mean, not Paul. Zach is not convincing me to play a game I didn't want to play.
It's so
Can
good.
I?
Well, this is the
While Zach
manga.
is while Zach is finding that like super quick, I just want to say one of the other reasons I get so annoyed with Nintendo and their storytelling is because of the stories in Majora's Mask. Mike, you really don't know what you're missing. You were gonna have a box of Kleenex, like, oh my god, this is the most beautiful game ever. Go ahead,
Mm,
Zach.
I don't cry like that, Joycey.
So quick
You didn't even
reminder
cry
to
during Lion
our,
King.
I
You
didn't
laughed.
cry. I didn't cry
Yeah.
when they killed Bambi.
Well, that's just cold,
they
then,
cry
brother.
when they killed Bambi.
That's just cold blooded.
You watched
Did-
King
wait,
Kong?
did
and
Bambi
the
die or did the
building?
The father
You're talking about the mom, right?
Yeah, the mom.
I want to take a page from Friends. What would I cry when he stopped drawing a deer? It's a cartoon. Stop drawing it. They just stopped
Okay, well,
drawing it.
well, Mike don't count. So go ahead, Zach. I'm
Quick
teasing, Mike.
reminder, Majora has a bunch of different weird forms when we fight Majora. You can see my screen, right? I missed something.
Lily is
don't know
giving us an example of how Majora acts.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you lost it for a second. They're
I
like,
didn't pull that
I haven't played it yet.
No. If you guys have played Majora's Mask, you know which face I'm talking about. It's actually the first one that you have over there on
Let me
Zelda's Dungeon. He starts
What?
making that weird noise when you're about to battle.
Oh,
No, that's
yep.
the third one. Yeah, that one. It
Yeah.
sounds
That
like a
one.
chicken. Yeah, that's the one.
And that's also the one that moonwalks. I
Oh
think.
yeah. The one they have there. Yeah.
but
I was about to
yes,
buy that mask. Now I don't want to buy it anymore. If it's going to turn into that thing.
Majora
Oh
my gosh.
transforms into all of these strange, twisted forms that are like nothingness, and they remind me so much. Oh, that's not Majora. Well, I mean that's someone's art of Majora, but they remind me so much of Null, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that Null existed before time, defending nothingness, just like the same story Nintendo gave Majora in this manga. And now we think about Echoes of Wisdom. This is Echoes. We think about
Wisdom.
we think about Tears of the Kingdom. And we have this process called Draconification. The Kingdom Dragon. Where somebody is able to transform into a dragon. Multiple somebodies are. So now we have multiple examples in the history of Zelda of non-dragon characters becoming dragons and dragon characters becoming non-dragons and people defending nothingness from creation and the goddesses of creation defending creation against nothingness. But what's Raru's sister's name, Joycey or Lily?
Bob.
Minoru.
Minoru. So we all know what Majora's Mask looks like. Minoru mask.
Bruh.
Tell me that this, if you flip this upside down and like, this is built the same way as Majora's Mask. This looks similar to Majora's
It does.
Mask.
I thought it
And
was when I
so-
did this quest.
My belief, and we still have no clue where these Zonai came from. My belief is Null, the Zonai, Majora. I believe the Zonai and their obsession with masks originate from Majora. I believe that Majora is the original Zonai, or at least from another universe, but who's to say we don't have one in our universe, which is what I said forever, was that there was some sort of creature of nothingness in the main Zelda timeline, and now we have gotten this main creature of nothingness, which is something I've been saying for years related to this theory. So, we have Lorule, we have Termina, we have all of these other Zelda worlds. There's not just one Shadow World, we have the Dark World, but they're all following a similar
We have the
theme.
Still World.
And so this is I'm working on a video. Yeah, you have the Still World.
Disney World.
So I'm working on an actual video essay about this. So this is not that organized right now, but I more just wanted to bring to the chat this idea that Majora and Null are almost sister beings. They're the same being from different universes. And, you know, we have the fierce deity mask in Majora's Mask, which what's interesting about the fierce deity mask in that game is it's actually the fierce deities mask.
Plural.
It is
Yeah.
possessive, a
Mhm.
mask belonging to a fierce deity. And that mask is given to Link when they are playing tag, so he can be the true bad guy, according to Majora Skull Kid.
Quote unquote
So-
bad guy.
Yeah. So, clearly, Majora has some sort of opposite version of the goddesses in his universe, or her universe, or its universe, which would be the fierce deity. And so, the Zelda multiverse continues to expand. We continue to see themes get repeated now. Like I said, this is the second time we have a creature defending nothingness, which comes right after the second time we have people turning into dragons and dragons turning into creatures, and masks of great mystery associated with these characters. So all of this to say, I think this all ties to the Zonai.
But there's a multiverse now? I thought there was only 2 timelines.
No,
There's
three.
three
There's
timelines.
at least 3.
All right, so thank you, Boo Mini, for that $5 super chat. Do you think Nintendo will come out with we already done? Never mind.
But yeah, so that is my little unorganized soapbox of switching tabs and the conspiracy strings everywhere.
Interesting.
But
No,
I
get
think
back on the
Zonai
soapbox.
Are related
So what
to
do you think
this.
about what do you think about Echoes of Wisdom?
So I love Echoes of Wisdom because I love lore, and for a long time, and specifically even more since Tears of the Kingdom, I have been saying that there is some sort of enemy of the goddesses that is greater than Demise, that was there at the beginning of the universe before the goddesses. So the fact that this game has now done that, and there was never any hint of anything like that in the main Zelda universe, that instantly puts this game very high for me because I am a big nerd of the lore and I am loving this lore.
That's awesome. So, yeah, lore comes to life when Nintendo makes it up at the end after pursuing and making the gameplay first, because that's how they work. So I'm me listening to you guys, okay, as an outsider, because I am a Zelda fan, but I'm a gameplay nerd, not a lore nerd, right? I love the gameplay. I love the story. I do love the story of this game. Now, I don't want to advertise Microsoft. So I love the fact that fans, they are thinking ahead of Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like, for example, how Zach just broke down and connected everything. I'm pretty sure that nobody in Nintendo has thought about this in a way that Zach did and connected it all together, right? Because if they do come with gameplay first and mechanics first, and then they do, okay, what kind of story can we write on top of this of this game, this mechanics? And I'm with Joycey on the part that they should really come up with the better stories, to match the gameplay. Gameplay is good, but the story's gonna it feels like it, because I just finished an older game, which is Skyward Sword, and to me that story itself beat out the games that I've played so far. Even Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, although there are the bigger games, the more beautiful looking games and everything like that. But the story wise, I really love Skyward Sword. I really do. They do. I really hope they do think about all of this when it comes to making the game, right? Instead of just thinking about gameplay first, they think about the lore, think about the story and how it connects together, so that moving forward, things connect a little better. I think it was Lily who said that there's a lot of unanswered questions, right? That people are always asking what connects what to what in Zelda. And so if they thought about story more, they would think about more of the connectivity within the Zelda franchise. And
And this
But-
is oh, I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say overall, to me, I when I played this game for the first time, I was excited to play it. When I started playing it, even without the sword, even without Link's shield and everything, I felt like I was playing a Zelda game. And I think that they did a great job in that aspect. That it still feels like a look at her just spinning around.
Just spin it. I know. That's
They
Yeah.
spinning.
glad to know I'm not the only one who does that.
I did that too. It was hilarious. I'm like, I thought I was the only one who did that too. Like this guy's doing it too.
It's like
But-
rolling an ocarina of time.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you still feel like you're playing a Zelda game. Maybe because of the theme music, maybe because of the ambience, the characters. They're all well connected. I really did love the underworld, the still world, the name of it. I remember when I first found out about the story at the end or whatever, and how it was all connected. Like, I'm learning lore. I'm not a lore guy, not a lore guy, but I was excited to learn something new within the story that I didn't hear from before. Because Zelda games repeat, right? They all repeat. They kind of tell the same story over and over again. You defeat Ganon, right? Because Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, it was basically the same game with different mechanics, right? Am I same game,
Stories-
different mechanics?
It had a
Same-
different vibe to it.
Yeah, I don't mean lore. I don't mean story wise. I mean like same game, different mechanics. It was the same world. You did different things in one than the other, but it was still your
Breath of the
Link.
Wild.
You wake up as Link. You end up with 3 hearts. You learn your abilities at the beginning of the game, like the tutorial part, and then you look
True.
for you turn on the turret, the towers, right? So that you can actually get the entire map, and then you collect all the little stuff inside the little shrines, so that your heart containers increase, and then
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that
so
assessment.
it was the same exact kind of thing, same thing. In both games, story changed a little bit here and there, right? So me, this felt like a little bit of breath of fresh air, fresh
breath of fresh
Breath-
air.
fresh, a
Why
fresh
could that be a Zelda title?
air,
Legend of Zelda, Breath of Fresh Air.
fresh.
Fresh of fresh air.
I'll say it, a breath.
Minty smoothies.
Eee.
I still can't say it. A breath. That's all right.
Yes,
Mhm.
of fresh
Of
air.
fresh air.
There you go. There you
Is
go.
the wisdom is escaping from me.
Breath of Fresh
It's
Air.
the wisdom. It's the breath of
The
the fresh air.
wisdom. So
But
the,
Mike, you're-
the echoes, I love the echoes. I really love the echoes and finding ways to defeat the games without the sword and things that I'm used to. So I think that's one of my highlights of this game. I believe I'm with you guys. I think this is now in my top 5 Zelda games, but still I enjoyed it. I think it's a cool game.
I enjoyed my time with it. I have a good, I think, 50 to 60 hours from start to finish, and did all the side quests and everything. But I guess I also kind of understood in my mind, like, this is not going to be another Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. But
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed that it didn't even live up to in my opinion, it doesn't live up to the previous 2D games, because I'm always going to bring up A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past, the Dark World is a very almost exact same layout as the Light World, almost, with the exception of a couple places, but they feel completely different vibes, completely different things to find, different secrets, different kind of monsters. The Still World started feeling a little samey after a while, and I did feel that way about the depths and Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, y'all got a whole depths, and y'all, this is all you did with it. Please hire me, Nintendo.
Yeah.
I know I'm an insurance agent, but I could moonlight as something way more creative. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things that bugged me. They had the opportunity. There could have been a whole, you know what? Y'all seen Nick Cage's movie, National Treasure, right?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah. I'm like, this was the opportunity. This was the time to throw in. Well, I mean, they've still got plenty of time, but this would have been a good time to throw in all kinds of old lore from old Zelda games. Put stuff in there, because the thing about it is, I get what Nintendo's saying. We want you to have fun. We want you to keep moving. We want you to do side quests. We want you to build things and do all the things in Zelda. But what just will take it over the edge is doing a little bit more with their own lore that they've created. If they, hey, Nintendo, there's a whole treasure trove of Zelda fans on YouTube who make all kinds of videos about lore. Pick an idea and go with it.
I mean, I had this really crazy idea. In the video collab that I did with Nintendo Land for charity, we were gonna pitch what games we wanted to see on Switch 2. And Paul was it. Paul, you hear us now? You good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to you next, Paul. So please, so yeah, I'm not no more spoilers for now.
Yeah, no more spoilers. That's our old Zelda games.
Yeah, so in that video that we collaborated, my idea for a Zelda game was a world where literally everything was lost, right? Okay, the Master Sword was broken. They're about to lose. The world was about to end. There's really no hope. But one something pending or whatever, where they could literally travel through time and visit other timelines and recover relics to restore the Master Sword. And so within that game, you could travel to the time of Ocarina of Time, or
There you go.
travel through Wind Waker and end up in the water or whatever. But the thing is that you would have to also go back and return those relics.
Like Endgame.
Like Endgame, yeah, like Endgame. And so
I love that. We can merge our ideas together. They both work.
I know. So Paul Gill Network. Like, I know you haven't defeated the game yet. So I want to get your thoughts of what you played so far. How you liking it? What do you think the game could be improved upon, and then what do you expect from it? Moving forward,
quite a bit. I'm not too far away from the ending.
Mhm.
Probably a little bit before the last boss, so there might be one more dungeon left. I'm not entirely sure. It's taken me a long time to beat for different reasons, but I definitely like it quite a bit. Oh,
not the game. That's not the game. Who is that guy with the mustache?
What could be improved? I mean, I like Zelda for so many different things that I'm okay that this took a departure from sword, shield, bow and arrow action, because I'm in it for the long haul, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you could take more liberties when you have such a successful franchise that if not everyone is the same as the prior, like, it's okay. You'll eventually get that sword hacking, slashing, Link focused one again. You can do this. I remember back in the day, in the earlier days of our podcast, we were talking about like Donkey Kong, where there only is a Donkey Kong that comes out once every so often, that you really hope that DK is for you, because you only get that one every several years. You're getting a 3D Zelda, another 3D Zelda, another one, a 2D one. Like, so this, I would have never asked for a Zelda game to be like, to play a Zelda? Oh, absolutely. I just think it's cool. But I would never have asked a Zelda game like, yeah, I just want to conjure beds and stuff and not ever really like have a full sword. That wouldn't sound like something I would come up with. So I'm glad Nintendo is at the point in their Zelda career of making games that they feel like we could do this. Because they wouldn't, the same Nintendo wouldn't have made this 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zelda was a lot smaller. It was barely selling 8-9 million. And I say barely, that's a lot, but nothing compared to now. So it's like, we could experiment. So part of me wants to say, go ahead and experiment more. I trust you. You know, you're all the best in the business. Make another one. If you want to do another kind of weird, quirky Zelda again, hey, I'm going to love the characters, the music, its own take on the lore, the story. I'll ride this ship with you. And if the next game, they've done it with like Spirit Tracks, they've done it with Wind Waker, with sailing being so heavily focused. Four Swords Adventures, where, all right, you got to split up the 4 links and stuff. So it's not even like the first time they've done it, but I guess maybe it's the most radical departure yet, because 1, you're playing as Zelda, 2, you're really just conjuring things. But then each one you could say was different because of blank. But I'm down with them coming up with more new things. but there's definitely that big part of me that just wants, give me some of that more traditional. But I know that I'll always get that, So I have faith in them delivering. Anything more on this game in particular? I was a big fan of the music. I thought it was charming from the get-go.
Mhm.
I've played most of it, save for the last boss and maybe a final dungeon beforehand. I think I ended up liking the game more than I thought I would, and that's not to say I didn't think I was going to like it, because my expectations are always high with Zelda games, but
Mhm.
it surprised me with just how well it did work, because I thought, oh, this is going to be a different experience, and that'll be cool, but I ended up having fun in a different way of like spamming, little characters, pew, 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 and then like having them work for me as little minions. And
Yeah.
that looked pretty cool, but I think playing it was a better experience than the way the game was shown off or demoed, at least when we initially saw it. Then when we got to see it more and more, you're like, oh yeah, this is going to click better. But it definitely is a game that I think you should try out, or you got to give it a chance somehow, because you might be wrong if you're like, this isn't for me. You might be right, but you might be wrong,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Whereas some games you could definitely see, oh, that's my genre. That's my genre.
Mhm.
This was a cute story, cute adventure. I'm not frame rate sensitive or anything, so
Yeah.
I I grew up falling down and getting scratched riding bikes and skateboards and this and this. I've had to study for midterms and final exams. I've had to play with 4 people on a Nintendo 64 with bots on screen in perfect dark, having 12 characters in a room, cluster, frame rate jittering, Mega Man 2 back in the day, frame moving over. Like, dude, when you live through all of the rough stuff, anything else doesn't really bother you anymore. You could appreciate the more grand scale and not nitpick the little things. Not to say don't hold companies accountable for elevating the scale, but certain things, this is like a no bother,
Yeah, of
I've
course.
heard people say, like, I refuse to play Echoes of, not Echoes. Well, no, that too. I refuse to play Age of Calamity until it's on better hardware, because I've heard of these frame rates. And I'm like, well, what if it doesn't get patched and you're just missing out on something cool? Like, you're really going to throw away a cool story and gameplay and visuals and fun combat and the ability to play with your friend on the couch or your kid or spouse or whatever, and the music involved, just because you can't deal with a little bit of the frame rate that bothers you that much? There's no way on earth I would let any one fragment ruin a grand experience. There's so much more to it
Of course.
than
Yeah.
that, to me. And same thing with this. Some folks said, I'm not going to play it because it's Zelda, it's no sword. And maybe you're right, but I think you would have fun with it in a different way. There's different ways to have fun in an adventure game, like Cadence of Hyrule. That was another kind of different take, and that was also fun.
Yeah.
Overall, yeah, positive impressions. Looking forward to what they cook up with, what they cook next, what they got cooking.
I agree 100% with you, Paul, on everything you said there. One thing I want to point out on this game, before we go over to the super chat, is that is something Lily pointed out. Is the difficulty level of this game, right? It felt like at the beginning it was also kind of it shows you a lot. It kind of guides you towards the game. I feel like they did it on purpose, right? Because somebody like my daughter who's never played Zelda game before would get into this game and love it. Just first thing, the visuals will get her to play it. How cute it is, right? Second, the story, right? And then the fact that it's it is kind of, well, there's no violence in here. Zelda's really not doing any fighting. She's just kind of having everybody fight for her. So having that little mechanic there kind of helps with that. So I think that this game will be a really good introductory game for a lot of kids, a lot of young people, a lot of people who want to get into the game, who don't want to get into the hard stuff first. Like, I was playing on master mode without even knowing, and Lily showed me how to switch when I was like almost toward the end. Like, oh, you can switch back. I'm like, really? And I'm like, I didn't know, but when I was playing in master mode, because I wanted to start in master mode, and I thought you couldn't do it because I know when you in other games you start in master mode, but even in master mode, I didn't find it difficult. I love the puzzles, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like Zelda so much. Not the lore, not the story, the puzzles. Because I'm a geek that way. I love puzzles. I like solving things, and this game, not only does it have the dungeons, similar dungeons to retro Zelda, but it also pushes you to figure out how to navigate the world without a sword, without a shield, right? You have to find out so how do I get from here to here using nothing but echoes, right? Of course I always went to the beds, and stuff like that, but still you figure out how to defeat the final boss just using your echo. Sometimes this echo is not strong enough, so you have to go to another one. Or this echo is too slow, but he's the strongest, but he's too slow. I gotta go with this one. I'll go with the bat somewhere. It makes you think. It makes you kind of question and strategize. So it's this game in particular, I feel is more of a strategy game than previous Zelda games, just because they remove all those elements. And shout out to you, Minnie, for the 5. Thank you so much. You are amazing. Because Zelda is such a big franchise, why does Nintendo not spend more time on lore? ESP, if fans are wanting that. Yeah, because they are stuck to their old ways, and they Miyamoto is the king. They all follow, and then whoever Miyamoto's shadow is. I'm watching this show on Apple TV where they have shadows. I think it's called Silo. So whoever Miyamoto's shadow is the second in command, and whoever he trains, they all have their specific way of doing something. They focus on gameplay first, on the fun factor, then they think about story after. I think the solution for that would be, okay, have 2 teams, one that concentrates on lore. They make them the lore crazy people, like the ultimate knowledge of lore in Zelda games, right? I don't mean crazy as in loony, but as in how smart they are when it comes to the lore of Zelda. And then have one with mechanics and gameplay, right? Have them talk to each other. Hey, we're working on this mechanics. Be working on a good story for this. But if you have the same team working on both things, they're gonna pay more attention to one thing than another. So that's why I think they're kind of lacking in story. And
Yeah.
Those teams do exist. Which I love your question, Boo. I was actually going to be bringing it up, something like that soon. So I feel like the quote about Nintendo putting gameplay first. Zelda. This is like my favorite subject. Like, I know, like I love Spider-Man and all that stuff, but Zelda is the greatest cinematic universe, joint universe ever created. It just is, objectively. It's not my favorite, so that's how I'm being objective about it. Love Spider-Man more. Love Star Wars more. Zelda is the better universe. So, the quote that whenever because they've said this over and over and over throughout the years about focusing on gameplay first. And every time they talk about it, they explain that the story can be a constraint. Trying to figure out, like, when you already have this pre-existing thing and this pre-existing environment, then trying to come up with these new mechanics, because Zelda is the most innovative series as far as gameplay goes in the entire Nintendo franchise, maybe as in gaming goes. Like, think about it. We got this brand new system in Breath of the Wild. Then they changed all of that and gave us a brand new system again in Tears of the Kingdom. And now we have these echoes in this new game. Like, there's always a different, you can call it a gimmick if you want, but there's always a different core gameplay mechanics. And so if you were to say, all right, we want to make a game that goes right here in the timeline where this thing is happening, then you already know, like, okay, there's going to be the castle here, there's going to be this here, there's going to be that here, and this is the event. And because you already have preconceived notions about your environment, what you're thinking about gameplay is going to go in that direction. And so what Nintendo says is that they can view the timeline as a constraint. I have all these quotes up. They're all in different tabs. But basically, it's that it is a constraint and they don't want to be constrained when they're coming up with that idea. And so there is a master document and a master timeline that has existed for a long time, and only 3 people have access to it, which would be I can never say his name, Fujibayashi, however you say it,
Kobayashi.
Fujibayashi.
Anuma, and Miyamoto.
Mhm.
Those are the only 3 who have access to this timeline. And basically, and Nintendo has told us the timeline forever, but they allow it to change because they're legends, and people are like, well, that's just your way to cover up a plot twist, or that's your way to cover up a plot hole, because people are always like, the Zelda games aren't connected. The Zelda games aren't, and like, they always are saying that. And so we have Zelda 1, and then Zelda 2 was a direct sequel, and the manual for Zelda 2
But there are
tells us-
2 Zeldas, by the way.
Yes. And the manual tells us that it is a direct sequel. Then we have A Link to the Past, which once again, in its manual and official strategy guide, tells us that it's a prequel to the first 2. We have Link's Awakening, which is a direct sequel to A Link to the Past. And guess what? Once again, that's confirmed in the manual of the game. And then we have Ocarina of Time, which was a prequel to the whole series at that point, which we are told about from developer interviews and also just over the years, Miyamoto and whatnot. And then, of course, you have Majora's Mask, which is a sequel to Ocarina of Time. And then you also have Twilight Princess, which is in the same universe for reasons that we won't explain to not spoil things for Mike. But, like, Zelda has always been
No, you're not going to spoil anything for me at all. At all.
Joycey's been avoiding it, so I'll avoid it for
Yeah.
Joycey. But
Yes.
where is it?
You
so
have
yeah,
to
so Anuma
experience it.
says the timeline related questions, and again, he's been saying this for like 13 years. The timeline related questions are difficult because we've never designed any Zelda game by saying, hey, we're going to put that game here. We need it to fit into this period or that one. That's not what comes first for us. But indeed, once the game is released, and we've been able to develop our story, we can tell each other, okay, we can make the game fit here. But that's not what's important. And so there's that one. But yeah, so it's just over the years, again and again, they've been talking about this document that only they have access to. Only Miyamoto, Anuma, and someone else say his name.
Fujibayashi.
Fujibayashi. Yeah. And so,
Fujibayashi.
but I like that idea because it's like you think about I always compare it to art. You know what I mean? If you go to make a sculpture, you get the clay, but then like you can make the sculpture about whatever you want. Like we can take the gameplay mechanics from Echo of Wisdom, make copies of an enemy, make copies of items, and switch to a brawler mode that has a sword and a shield that's on a limited
Did you say
time
Switch
thing.
2?
I did say Switch 2. Oh yeah, Switch 2.
Yeah, I see what you
Wink,
see.
wink,
Or
hint,
just
hint.
what you did that.
But you're able to switch to this brawler. Like none of that's on its own is related to Zelda. Those are just gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
And so when Nintendo says gameplay comes first, that's what they mean. They mean they figure out the type of Zelda game they want to make, and then they get going on it a little bit, and they say, all right. They go to the masters of the lore who have the book.
After this, I'm about to drop a hot take.
Will do. I think I'm done. But yeah, they say, here's where it can fit in. Here's lore that goes with this area of time that you didn't know about yet. Squeeze that into the game, into the story. Build the story around that.
So my hot take on that is, and what I understand and what I think Nintendo believes is that, believe it or not, story is important. And once they come up with the gameplay, they work on the story depending on the gameplay and the new mechanics they come up with. But I honestly believe that in a way, mechanics and gameplay are more important than story.
Hard disagree.
Why? Because the game is. I know you're gonna disagree, Roshi. I understand. That's why I said hot take. Everybody's gonna disagree with this, and so I this is how I feel. Gameplay and mechanics are more important than story to me because it's easy to to have a great game with great mechanics and super fun to play when you're playing the game, then to get through that, and then have like bit uh bits here and parts here of bad storytelling, you go back to the good gameplay, then to have horrible mechanics and horrible gameplay that is hard to get through, and have, my God, this is a great story, but man, I can't, horrible. I can't even, move my character, and wow, that looks incredibly horrible. And wow, this mechanic is just, I can't get through this. So I'm like, I can see why they want to make sure they get those mechanics down. If they have to make any type of new gameplay, they build that first. They make sure that is playable, that is fun, that is addicting, that is interactive, and then, okay, once you have this really cool Tears of the Kingdom game where you can fuse items and create whatever you want, now how can we put a story around this so that people can get through the story, and with that mechanic, with that gameplay, have fun, right? And so again, I understand this is a hot take. That's why it's called a hot take, because nobody agrees with it, but this is how I see it. Me, because I love gameplay. I like to have fun in the games, and I that's what I focus more on, and I'm probably in the rare breed in that area, but I do feel like gameplay is a little more important than storytelling at this time, and Mario proves it. Mario has no no story. The same one, Bowser, Rantat.
But
Castle.
here's the thing.
I'm sorry, but the princess is in another castle. Okay, let's go to the next one. I'm sorry, but the princess is in another castle. Okay, the next one. But it's fun to get.
But here's the thing. Go for it, Lily. I'll go last.
I want to say that I agree with Mike, but I wouldn't put it with those words. Like, I'm not gonna say that mechanics are less important, but circling back to what Zach mentioned, they always, of course, start with the gameplay. But when people say that, when anyone within the Zelda franchise mentioned that, they feel like, oh, they don't care about the lore. That's not the case. It's not that they don't care about the lore. And they even say it on, the development, after development interview, where the reason why they switched over to Zelda was because, people weren't using the echoes, right? And if we go back to the original Zelda didn't have a cave on the first screen. There wasn't a cave. You had already your sword. And when they started, testing it out with people, they started to notice that people weren't exploring because they already had a sword, right? So what they did to fix that was to add a single cave. And when you go in, because you don't have a sword to defend yourself, you go into the cave, you are taught with the very principle of the Legend of Zelda, exploration. And the reason why they said they did that is because they force you to go and explore so you can get a weapon or an item that will allow you to keep progressing through the game. That's not to say actually you can beat the game without the sword, by the way. Anyways, that's the only little tweak that they did in order for them to learn how to do things. And then you end up, meeting the old man saying it's dangerous to go out, to go alone, take this, right? That's the most iconic thing ever.
Yeah.
Now, and in
Yes.
Echoes of Wisdom, that's exactly how it worked. The reason why they thought about, making or Zelda the protagonist was because they needed to have something for people to go and experiment that way, because that's the other thing. Everybody has been mentioning that there was a lot of people complaining that I'm not going to be the hero, I'm not going to wield a sword, what the hell am I going to do? Like they weren't
She's
sure
a
exactly.
girl.
Things like that were kind of circling around. And on the development, they asked the developer interview, they asked, well, how do you guys came up with the idea of putting Zelda? And when they had the mechanics, that's when they started thinking about it, like, okay, how can we make Zelda have a motivation to go after this? Because if Link is no longer there, yeah, okay, that's the start. The hero is not there, but why will Princess Zelda, she's royalty, go after whatever is out there, right? There's no reason, there's no motivation behind it. And that's why they created the rifts, because they thought about the idea of breaking Hyrule, literally, like having like rift around is scattered throughout the land, for Zelda to be concerned about and say, I have to do something. Like my people, my Hyrule, it's happening. Something's happening, and I have to, I have motivation to start doing that. And that's how they kind of work around the gameplay mechanics and adjusting the lore. And sadly, when they go to that, they cannot really focus on the lore that we know, because most of the games are very far apart. Like when Zach mentioned Majora's Mask, I do believe that could be a very strong, theory, but it's not even part of that same timeline either. So the sacred realm existed and all that kind of stuff, so it doesn't really fit within the timeline. And that's the way it is. That's why Nintendo doesn't mean that they don't care about the lore. It's just the way that they focus on. They want you to have the experience. They want you to have that kind of ability to solve puzzles, to go through challenges, to have the courage to do certain things, and that's how it is. That's how it is, and that's why don't feel that they don't care. They do. They really do, because that's the way it has always been. Do I really want something to be connected? Of course, I'm a Zelda fan. I will love that, but I understand how they are kind of inviting everybody into Zelda, and not just that minority of people who understands the lore behind the Legend of Zelda.
I'm gonna give you a little clap, Lily, because you hit the mark there, and then you hit a whole bunch of points that kind of hit me in the heart for real, because that's exactly how I feel. I'm like, they're thinking about making that experience and making you explore, and how much you're gonna have exploring. Like, I like when you went back to Zelda 1, talk about the sword and everything, because that's true, right? If you have the sword already, you wouldn't, just kind of start whacking stuff, and that's
exactly.
But when you go in there and you look at the guy, he gives you the sword and he tells you, be careful out there, go along, whatever. It gives you a sense of responsibility, of sense. Okay, now I have the sword. Now let's go out there and see what else we can find. So yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I
And
know
so
that you said. Oh, sorry.
yeah, that also lends. And I don't mean that lore is not important, but that exactly that the gameplay, the mechanic, the how are they gonna make you want to move your character left, right, down, left, and improve your character and make him stronger and get more hearts, and how are they gonna entice you to go from point A to
Yep.
point B, and so yeah, that's basically it. So thank you, Lily,
For
for
me, that's Zelda.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
thank
Mike,
you,
I
Mike.
know you said that it was a hot take,
Yeah.
but I actually don't think it is, because like I'm not gonna say I disagree, but my experience with Zelda, for me, I got into the story before I got into the games. Like, I played when I was little, but then I didn't have one for years. But I would spend time reading about Zelda and reading like the stories of the games and whatnot. And so it's funny to be like, no, you're completely right. For me, the most important thing in Zelda is the story. But that's what's so amazing about good games. Good games can have a good story that
Hold
can
on,
draw
hold on.
someone in and
Hold
have
on, what is
someone...
this? It's commercial horrible.
It's at least hygienic.
But like...
No, Harry.
What just happened?
Well,
The
see, like, that's a
ad
good story that we can revisit later in the podcast. But yeah, for me, the most important thing about Zelda in my experience with it is the story. But thankfully, it is such a good property that for people like you who care about the gameplay more, there's amazing gameplay, and since it's your opinion, it's kind of hard to disagree, since it's what is the most important about Zelda to you.
Yeah.
Joycey was like, hard disagree, but if we take Joycey's romance novel games and take all the romance out of them and just put gameplay in them, are you still going to be playing them even though the story's not good anymore?
It depends.
Like,
Is it Zelda good, or is it just them other people good?
What do you think, Paul? I see Paul's pondering. He has that face.
I've been
emoji
trying to
on.
say something
The
for a
emoji face
while,
on.
Mike.
Look at that. I think
Dang,
he's not
Mike,
here. Paul, there's no more spoilers, Paul.
Well,
Mike.
Let Joycey get that off her mind.
Okay, that's right. Go ahead,
Ask
Jesse.
me
Go
that
ahead.
question one more time.
Yeah, because like I said a while that I wanted to say something about that. So here's the thing: the reason I disagree is I don't disagree that this is how the developers think, and trust me, they do know what they're doing. But for me, I feel like you're resting on your laurels, and it's a bit lazy. And I've said this before. If you've been here before and heard me go on my Zelda rants, I think it's late because I'm not saying do this for every single game where the story has to be perfect or has to be a certain way or anything like that. What I'm saying is, you have Zelda's a very strong property, like you guys have already said, that there's a lot that you can get away with, that you can risk it. It doesn't have to be the big 3D Zelda game necessarily, but I want to see more like Echoes of Wisdom, more test games or pilot games, if you will. Because the thing is that, and this is what I think happened in Breath of the Wild, at least for me, and in Tears of the Kingdom. The world is so big, it almost like the story is forgotten or the lore is forgotten. And they spent so much time on the detail of the world, which was beautiful. But how many more Night's Bows do I need? How many more, of these shields do I need? How many of the same thing do I need? So, oh, great, another Korok. So, that was something I did like a little bit more about Echoes of Wisdom because I felt like I was always somewhere new. But that's just my big beef between, because you can have gameplay and story. So if you don't want story to get in the way, because I do understand that sometimes you don't sit down and play a video game so you can necessarily watch a movie unless you're purposely playing a visual novel, right?
Yeah.
So people don't necessarily want to sit there and watch 20-minute cutscenes. I do, because I love Zelda, but that's not going to do well with the mass audience, right? Even if they're skippable, people don't always want to watch all that. So the way you combat that is you have like in Tears of the Kingdom, like in Echoes of Wisdom, like in all the other games, you have your certain cutscenes that are 2-3 minutes long or whatever. They tell a part of the chunk of the story so you can understand what you're going to do next. And then exploration is supposed to lead to reward. So as you're exploring, you're not side questing or anything. You're just chilling, spinning through Hyrule, rolling through Hyrule, whatever. And you stumble upon, like when we found all those different journals and diaries in Breath of the Wild, that's a perfect way to stick lore in there without interrupting gameplay. Because people who don't want that, there are a lot of people I talked to who played Breath of the Wild from start to finish, had no clue that all the diaries that were around there, they were like, what do you mean Princess Zelda has a diary and her scientific journal that she kept? I'm like, oh my God, you guys didn't miss that. So that's all stuff that is optional. But for people like us, I find an old diary. There was once a hero of time that, oh my God, I have to sit here and study the scene for 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But somebody else would say, I don't care about that. I'll collect it and maybe I'll look at it later. I want to continue questing or doing whatever I'm doing. So that's how you make up for that. You can still make the story different. They don't have to sacrifice gameplay. Let's say the Zelda devs are sitting around right now. Let's make Zelda really crazy. Let's do cyberpunk Zelda and it's the year like 50,045 or something crazy like that. There's still plenty of room to put in all that old lore and put in plenty of stories. Because Zelda's so out of whack, they can get away with a cyberpunk Zelda that takes place before Skyward.
Yeah,
they were
the original game.
Yep, they were.
that is, but they can still do that now. And I think we could even, I don't know about cyberpunk, maybe that's too much for the fan base. I'd enjoy the heck out of it.
I was stuck on Cyberpunk's intro for 17 hours. I couldn't get past the character creation. If you know, you know.
I had water in my mouth, Paul.
Oh my.
Oh, how do you have water in your mouth? What are you talking, Joycey?
She's a Zora.
She's a Zora.
Yes, you should drink at least 64 ounces of good, healthy water every day. Anyway,
It's true.
so
Soda,
Meiosis?
I
juice.
still don't disagree with you, Mike. I still don't think any of you guys are wrong. I think a marriage of all of our ideas, in my
Yeah, of
personal opinion,
course, of course.
makes
I
a
agree.
perfect Zelda game.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Just like, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I just wanted to say something very quick about Tears of the Kingdom about the story and going back to the linear gameplay. I remember that there were a lot of friends saying, "Hey, the only thing I never liked is that the order of the memories, the order how they're telling the story is not in order." And I was like, "It is in order if you go to this temple." And I told them how to go into a temple, and the reason why they got confused is because they were so used to Breath of the Wild's freedom of exploration and optional lore that they never spoke to Impa. And Impa never showed them, the chamber where you can see the map of all the symbols and all the tiers and everything. And there wasn't a specific order for you to watch the memories. And that's the only thing I didn't like about the fact that it was kind of everywhere. But yeah, if you follow the linear pathway or the linear gameplay or the linear story, if you go wherever you're told, you're gonna know exactly how the story unfolds, and that's something that they did in Tears of the Kingdom, which they lacked a little bit in Breath of the Wild. That's it.
Yeah, no, I
Real
agree.
quick.
I agree. Any of you, during the game, did you keep watching the imprisoning war cutscenes, hoping for something different to happen
No.
Yes,
after
I
the
did.
third one? After the third one, like okay, so,
Like even just like an extra like 10 seconds that's not in the other ones. That would have been nice, where it's like, okay, well, since this is from the Zora's point of view, like let's get like
yeah,
10 more seconds with their character. Let's
Mhm.
see them kill an enemy. Like, yeah, and then I was just like, oh, it's just
How your
Again.
people are preparing
The
for
imprisoning
war,
war.
from your
There was
point
this
of view.
guy.
and there
We
still
all,
is no
we all got
imprisoning
together,
war.
and this guy just came out of nowhere to try to attack us. So we just got together and just started to attack. We all felt defeated, and that was the imprisoning war.
And
And
that's
then-
that's a 3-minute cutscene. You get rewarded with a new perspective, new lore, new things going on at every dungeon. And to kind of to Lily's point, I don't think now, chat, when we get to our Q&A section, you could of course ask questions and you can make comments too, how you guys feel about this. I think the bigger dungeons, and I want them to go back to unique dungeons. Divine Beasts were fine. Tears of the Kingdom was fine. But the dungeons of yesteryear, I'm sorry, but they are peak. Just about all of them. I don't think making the bigger dungeons into a little bit more linear, where it forces you to have to go explore, go collect certain items, so you can now open this next dungeon that has the next big cutscene. Everything you're finding around your exploration maybe is lore, kind of like the Gossip Stones. When Gossip Stones in Ocarina of Time, especially, they gave you all kind of little bits story.
Mhm.
That's how we know Malin really wanted Link to come sweep her off her feet. There's another story, Nintendo. If you want people to just the hero, whatever
we
to
have
be above, go for it.
Hashtag let Paul speak.
Yeah.
Sorry, that always works. We
I
get there.
don't hear Joycey at all right now. Did everybody hear her? Because it completely cut off on me. Is it my internet connection? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I got
You guys
fiber.
can't hear me?
I can hear you, Joycey.
No, we can't.
Like it cut off completely for me. Like I didn't know what you said for the past 30 seconds.
No, I was
Oh.
just joking back with Andrew.
Okay.
Like that's not how it works. We talk when we get it when it's our turn,
Okay.
and it is Paul's turn.
Just a heads up. Just a heads up. Throughout the entire podcast, if you have a question, you can go ahead and submit it because we do have a Q&A at the end, right? You don't have to super chat or anything. We have a Q&A. You ask your question regarding Zelda. You know what? The question is regarding the Zelda Switch suit. Whatever you want to ask can be directed at any particular cast member, and we will answer them at the end. So go ahead. If you have any questions, we're starting Q&A in about 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So if you have any questions, and then we'll take questions for about 5 minutes after that. I know Paul's son is under the weather. He wants to get back to his son and take care of him and stuff like that. And we want to make sure that we are I'm not extending the podcast if we don't have to. We had a great conversation. Everybody just filled in, and I feel more enlightened in the world of Zelda now because of this podcast, and I can't wait till the next one. Once the next, once Paul
We're gonna
finishes,
go through each game.
we can do that. We can do that. When Paul finishes, Tears, Echoes of the Wisdom, then we'll revisit and then get his perspective on the game, and then have a lot of fun. But it's been a fun podcast. So, how do you guys agree? Start Q&A.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paul wanted to say something.
Well,
After Paul.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Paul.
What should I tackle? I mean, I spoke my piece on Echoes of Wisdom that I
Yeah.
like it quite a bit. And
Yeah. I mean, we got the hashtag. We got the hashtag. Let Paul speak. Hashtag right now. So, Paul, go ahead.
Better
Final
call
thoughts.
Paul.
Give us the final thoughts. Pretend like you're Jerry Springer for a minute there, and give us your final thoughts. If for the younglings, Jerry Springer was a monumental, inspiring man who almost became president.
Link, you are not the father. Oh my gosh.
No,
Mally goes running,
Runs behind the stage.
and Zach is going to
Two
be the
different
cameraman.
people who were
And
on
out
the
comes
Jerry Springer
Ganondorf.
show.
Uh-oh.
Noel comes right. It was me the entire time.
Okay, y'all, what is we doing, y'all? We're devolving.
We are.
What are we talking about? Oh, Paul, you didn't have anything else?
Paul's gonna give us his final thoughts.
I love Zelda.
Yay! Everybody give Paul a hand.
And that's why that's why Paul's my cousin.
All right.
Related for Nintendo.
I have a thought that's I mean it's not so much a thought, but it's what you could do after the podcast. Well, I mean, I guess after the podcast, go watch Zach's Super Smash Bros. Stream.
Birthdays.
Hey.
Extravaganza.
But then after that, you should go to my YouTube channel and check out what I did with the Master Sword last night.
It's not plug-in time yet, Paul. We'll get there.
Well, they wanted to know, and that's all I can think of right now is playing.
Paul's ready. Paul's ready to plug in. To plug in.
I'm ready to plug it in.
We'll get there. We'll
Like a
get there.
controller, old school.
Give Paul any
All right, so-
reason
so,
to set
something-
something on fire or jump in his pool, and he will do it.
So
I do
something
have
that Nintendo related, but something that I wanted to bring up because this is it's emotional, but it's also in a way beautiful and also sad. I received this today. You can't even see it.
A white
Legacy.
It's our legacy, and if you guys know, last year my stepdad passed away. He wanted to be a donor, so whatever they donated saved a life, and they sent us this little pin, in his honor, and a little note from the person that got his donation, thanking him. So, it's something that he passed away unexpectedly. Unexpectedly he had a heart condition and it got worse. But yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys because it's something that's really special here. They also gave us a little heart that has his DNA inside, like a little heart. And so it's very nice. So if I don't know how you feel about donating life, but it's something that I mean, I am a recipient of a donor. I had a cornea transplant. Because of that, I'm here. I would have not been able to see because I'm completely blind on the other eye. So without that cornea transplant, I would have not had it. I also did one of these. I signed the letter. I made a letter to the parents of the person who was the donor for me, and something that is we don't think about every day, But yeah, just wanted to bring it up there.
If you can't
And,
journey on, help
yeah.
somebody else to do so. I love that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Boo Mini is in again. Boo Mini is a star. She's a star. We got to make her a co-host of the podcast.
Yep.
We'll bring her on for the next Zelda movie or something like
Yeah,
that.
we do. Will Nintendo shirts be sold out worldwide by the time Paul Gale Network is done with the countdown? Nintendo shirt.
I'm actually announcing a new series that I will be doing a video game shirt every second of the day until so that's coming up next.
Every
I've
second
got
of the
about-
day,
I
new
get
t-shirt.
I'll be
I
doing
get
a shirt a second for every second that the Nintendo Switch 2 is out. So I'm
shirt.
anticipating like a good 50,000 seconds so far. Yeah.
Actually, I have a good idea how you could make a video like that if you really wanted to. And I'm very serious, Paul.
Yeah. A shirt a second.
A second.
All right, thank you, Boomy, for that super chat. That's hilarious. Yeah, Paul is actually on the countdown right now. He's wearing a different shirt. He'll tell you more during the plug-in time. It's not plug-in time yet, Paul.
It's always
All right.
So I have one, which is short because I know I've been this is my subject. Even though
We got questions.
I got one thing that I want to just kind of like drop to the audience to
Don't do
ponder
it. Don't drop it.
to our next Zelda.
Hold it up high.
So what if what we saw in the beginning in Echoes of Wisdom? There we go. I can figure it out.
The
What if what
wisdom.
we saw in
Wisdom.
Echoes of Wisdom
Wisdom.
about the beginning of things, without spoiling things for Paul, without how things started? What if that was just how one set of things started? What if Zelda and Hyrule and stuff has been destroyed? The world's been destroyed. The world's been formed. The world's been destroyed. The world's been formed. So many times over.
So many times.
Think about it. All right.
I don't want to.
Okay, for the Zelda theorists on the cast, we will think about it
I want
and
to.
we will discuss it, and then we'll fill Mike in.
Because
No, I don't wanna
may
get
not have
filled in.
talked about that. So
Well, if you don't want to talk about lore, well,
You used to be
corner. Say what?
I refuse to be filled in.
You refuse to be. So you don't want to play Zelda games anymore. You don't
I
want to
do
talk
want
about
to
Zelda
Zelda.
anymore.
I love Zelda. I want to marry Zelda one day.
You're married. Paul. You're married, dude. You're married.
It's a fictional character, okay? I'm allowed to marry Zelda.
You could have a wife.
Well, you're not good. Well, she wants to. Well, she wants you to listen to her, so you have to listen to all about the lore, Mike. That's how this works. Yeah, exactly.
Is that her voice?
That's
Hey,
Navi's
still want
voice.
to?
That's Navi's voice.
All right. Q&A has officially started. Thank you for
Hey.
everybody who sent in their questions.
You can still fit 'em in,
Uh,
can
guys.
we make you know, you have the Better Call Paul music? Can we do like a little animated sequence before Q&As where it's like Q&A?
Like,
Hey.
Like, why,
Hey.
yeah, Q&A.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Look
I gotta talk. I
Take
gotta
it
talk
away,
to
Lily.
you after
Yeah.
the show.
Thank you so much for your question, Fowers. I have an interesting question for the panel. Nintendo intentionally designed the UI, so you had to see all the echoes. Hoping you will pick a unique solution. Did anyone follow that path? No, not me.
I mean, that was part of the advertisement, right? Like everybody's gonna do their own thing and come up with their own solutions to go from point A to point B. I did that. You know, I made my own solution of choosing the bed every single time, and then continuing the path
I
everywhere.
don't
But
think I ever used the bed.
dude, the bet, man, the bet. I'm
The goat.
It blew
I'd
my
be sleep
mind
during-
when I went into the Zelda like Reddits and saw everybody just talking about like how the bed was their most used item. I was like, really?
dude. The bet is king or queen.
Like I didn't even know they did different
no matter how
things
big
until
it
you
is.
guys are saying that just now.
No matter how big it is, either queen or king, the bet.
Zelda, a boss like that, she's like, you know what? I'm not feeling this boss battle. I'm gonna take a nap.
How much?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I just
And
got
then-
mad respect for that. That's just so gangster.
Also, I
Yeah.
can't believe we haven't talked about Condi at all.
We'll another podcast.
He's the best.
All right, next
Yeah.
question. And thank you.
Um,
Mike is not in the mood tonight, y'all.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that that was the only thing that I never liked about the game. That you have all the echoes, and then when you get all of them, it gets very annoying just for you to, browse through each one of them. You do have like shortcuts for you to pick the most used ones, which I bet Mike was using all the time.
Yep.
But also, when you get the Zelda's bed, it recovers more of your health versus the regular, old bed, which is nice.
Yeah,
So
you
you can
get
get
different beds.
Zelda's bed.
The beds
Yeah.
recover your health?
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Yes.
Yeah, you get more beds, and like the last bed, the final bed, which is Zelda's bed, recovers more of your health.
I thought it
but-
was like something you would
Faster.
use as a bridge.
But the bad
You-
thing
you
about the
can.
bed,
You can sleep
ba-
in it.
the bad thing about the last bed is that it's too big, so you can't really use a lot of them, and then you can't make bridges.
And they take a lot of the triangles. So
Yeah.
yeah. The regular bed is cheaper to conjure or to echo, basically.
So
It
I
costs
was
less money.
almost always at full health, especially when I first got the bed. So like I was like, sleep. And I was like, okay, well that does nothing other than being cute for 5 seconds. And then I just never used them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that Nintendo well, if they did intentionally design it that way, I never used it to pick a unique solution because I always had my echoes to go to. Like, yeah, my level 3
Yeah.
Dark Knight. Oh yeah. And as soon as I got
Yes.
to Lionel, I was like, oh yes,
Dude,
baby.
I used nothing but Lionel when I got Lionel.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna
Thank you for
say
the question.
this.
Published. Sorry, published.
I'm gonna say this till
Public?
I'm blue in the face. One of the things that I think would have sold Echoes of Wisdom a little bit better if they had sold plushies of the Lionel, Link and Zelda 2, like actual plushies, because that Lionel in Echoes of Wisdom looks like it could be the cutest plushie ever.
Yeah, and we also
It's like,
need
you're so
amiibos,
mean.
Nintendo.
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna get more amiibos when the next big Zelda comes out. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do a whole bunch like they used to for every single character, but we're gonna get our mains, I think.
Oh, and please give me some Star Fox amiibo.
Firefox amiibo.
Somebody
Great.
get this man some Starbucks.
Amiibo.
All right.
Yeah, please. Also from Publish, have you 100% the game or explore every aspect? My issue with the game is that it's too open and I won't know what I don't find unless I do a ton of research online. Yes and no. As soon as you beat the game, you can talk to the tree and the tree will give you hints as to what you're missing. So in case you guys didn't know that, you can do that once you beat the game. That's also
you.
something that happened with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, you guys. I know that there's a lot of 100%ers out there. I love you a lot. However, one of the beautiful things about beating the game and rolling credits on it, not only that you learn the story, but it also unlocks the possibility for you to know what percentage you have completed on the game.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, Echoes of Wisdom does not give you the percentage, but it will give you that other workaround where you talk to the tree and the tree will let you know what kind of things you're missing. So yeah. And
Where's
I
the
have not
tree?
completed 100%, but I'm almost there.
I
Where's the
did
tree?
100%.
I didn't know. I don't know about the tree. Where's the tree?
I 100% of the game in master mode.
Sure you
Master
didn't.
mode. Is it master mode? I don't remember the name. but
I call it master mode because
There is
I don't
hard
think
mode.
I've ever. I don't think I have ever switched over to that. Yeah, I don't think so.
Wait, Lily, where's this tree you're talking about? in Echoes of Wisdom.
it's next to the Deku tree.
Next to the Deku tree. Well, it's when you go to the woods and all of that, and
Uh-huh.
you
Oh,
talk
I never
to-
found. Okay, because I was gonna also say published. There is a linear path if you want to take it. It's
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
it's very similar to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. The game says go here if you want to, but the point is to let you do things when you're good and ready. And if you would keep exploring, and the biggest thing is to talk to people. Hey, yo, I'm gonna tell y'all something. This isn't a big spoiler, Mike, so you're gonna forget anyway. So don't worry about it. But I found out something today that I never knew, because I don't think them old games had percentage counts on them either. But Ocarina of Time, after you get Epona, when you're adult Link, and you leave and you come back to the ranch and you talk to Malin. Apparently, there's a mini game, and this is Ocarina of Time. I
Yeah.
played that game backwards and forwards. I never knew that.
Racing game.
But it's not a racing. Well, there's a mini game you can go back and play, and Milan has you race Epona around the track. But
Yeah.
I never knew that because I was like, go back to the ranch and talk to them for what? So yeah, you got to go back and talk to people even after you've done a quest sometimes.
I did that one, so it's not a spoiler. I went back and I did the race. I did the race.
Really quick, we gotta touch on that because that was like just said so casually. Joycey, Mike did a Zelda thing before you did
What did he do?
the race.
Oh
said you
yeah.
just found out.
Oh, okay.
Mike got to a part of a Zelda game before you did.
Yeah, and
think
it's
Yoshi
about,
Ball-
He found a Zelda secret that you didn't know about.
No,
I
I
didn't
think
know about it till today.
I think Joycey did it before me, but she just assumed that I didn't don't do it.
Yeah, because you don't play through all the Zelda games, and then when we tell you about stuff, you're like, "Oh yeah, I 100%ed it." Mike, what's this? I don't
No,
know. what that is.
I this is the thing. This is the thing. I play a game. Once I play a game, I have fun. I learn the story, but I don't connect myself to the lore to a point where I have to make it my Bible. I'm just that kind of guy. I like to have fun with the game, and I move on to the next one and to the next one. The world is big, and I can't narrow my vision just to one. You know, it's that's the way it is. It's the way it is. And if I don't choose to remember something personally, it's because maybe it didn't mean that much to me to begin with, right? I have a really good memory. I have a very good memory, and I remember to the T. Actually, I remember when I was laying back on my belly in my crib and looking at my stuff here when I was a little baby. I remember that for real. And so, you know, I have a very good memory, but for me, things will grab on if they really do mean something, right? And if I didn't think they were that big of a thing, then they don't attach.
So
That's
you're
not the
saying that
issue.
Skyward Sword didn't mean too much to you because that's I mean
one?
that game is pure lore, by the
Which
way.
one? Which one? Oh,
Skyward
Skyward
Sword.
Sword.
You
I
love
just-
Skyward
Lord.
Sword.
Yeah, I couldn't stop talking about Skyward Sword. That's how you know. Because like I said, wow, this game is so beautiful, especially when Zelda is giving herself and putting herself in the crystal. No, Link is like, no, don't do it, and then she goes like this into the thing, and you know that moment just got
That's
me,
a beautiful
man.
moment.
Like,
But-
more than Bambi.
But that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing that we're kind of talking about with Zelda is that you can have it all. You don't
Yeah.
have to. You don't have to be a lore head like we are. But
Yeah.
somebody like me, Lily, Paul, Zach, we are going to go to every inch of that world if Nintendo comes out with a huge Zelda game like Breath of the Wild, like that kind of map, and they tell us it's not just Koroks every time. There's all kind of story everywhere. There's all kind of things to find that are not only Knight's bows. There are so many Knight's bows in the Wild era. Why were there all those Knight's bows, and why were they all in chests? And why did I collect every single one in the game? I'm just
And
a
how
question.
to get the Hylian shield? No one actually understood that. You have to read in order for understanding where you can find the Hylian shield.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right. Next question.
by the way, Joycey is the Deku Tree, the one you're looking for.
Oh, I didn't go to him for hints, so I was just like, oh, okay. whatever.
Yeah, you have to talk to him because yeah, after you beat the game. But yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and go look at that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. All right, there's a question for Paul. I've been wondering if anyone has put together a guide for Breath of the Wild that gives a linear path through the game that allows you to touch one of these optional items experience.
It's the internet. Go ahead, Paul.
I'm sure at this point, 8 years in,
Yeah.
there's got to be someone someone put out there online a visual walkthrough, YouTube walkthrough, written walkthrough. Like, this is the most strategic way to hit every Korok the most efficiently, get each item, hit each kind of story element. I couldn't tell you exactly where to look, but probably with the Google or YouTube search, most ideal, quick, linear path of Zelda completion 100%. Like, I think that'll work, which, something like that, yeah.
I mean, it does
Yeah,
have.
Is it okay?
Can I-
Can I go? I'm sorry.
There's a lot of there's a lot of cutting But yeah, let's just a quick note. Q&A. We gotta get through it.
I make
Yeah.
a plug right there. So for anybody wondering about that, you can go and search for either ZeldaUniverse.net or Zelda Dungeon. Both of them are amazing. Zelda Dungeon is a little bit more into the dungeon design, so more like the walkthroughs, and I wouldn't say connect. Zelda Universe is a little bit more the community, but both of them have. If you guys are interested in 100%ing Echoes of Wisdom, Tears of the Kingdom, Link's Awakening, they even have an interactive map. So you can toggle on and off certain locations. If you're like me and don't like to know exactly the details as to how to do or solve the puzzle, you can simply pinpoint the location, and that will help you a ton. So make sure you visit both of those websites. Are amazing when it comes to walkthroughs and playthroughs. They will definitely help you out a lot.
That's a good call out.
And something you can't find anywhere on the internet. If we get Mike to 100,000 subscribers by June, I'll tell you all how to permanently skip blood moons.
Yay! We got it.
Because I did figure that out within like my first 3 months of playing. And
Nice.
It still works. It's never been patched.
Blood moons.
Nice.
Blood moons. Oh, I know. I can skip them, but can you skip them?
No, like so the enemies don't come back. Because like you can go into a shrine, but like they're still gonna. It's gonna keep happening every day until midnight hits. But there is a way to glitch it out where it does not return, and the enemies stay gone, and the cycles reset.
Interesting.
That's exactly.
I want to answer this next one.
All right.
And I want to add to it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joycey.
Thank you again. Published. Have Link and Zelda ever kissed? This is my theory. So
Wait,
depending-
have they ever kissed?
All the time,
Yeah.
So this
just not on camera.
No, okay.
So this is my theory. So every Link and Zelda, of course, have a different relationship. So it depends on which Link and Zelda you're talking about. If we're talking about Tears of the Kingdom, Link and Zelda, people love to say Zelda just took over his house and it's just Zelda's house on the surface. So I think there's definitely a lot more going on with that particular Link and Zelda.
Mhm.
One day we'll go through we'll do all the games and I'll tell you what I think about all the relationships. Go for it, Lily.
I just wanted to add that Anuma mentioned that I'm going to quote it. I will leave it to everyone's imagination whether Link and Zelda are in a relationship. Anuma said, I don't think that Zelda is the type of game where development, like this is Zelda and, their story. And then everything that's in development they want to convey, they already placed. So if you believe that Zelda and Link or Link and Zelda are in a relationship, that's okay.
Yep.
But that's basically what they say. Like they never actually confirmed it, but they never denied it. So
Yeah.
That's a good debate because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, no man is going
I
on
say
a quest.
confirmed in one game.
No-
well,
No man is
they-
going on a
yeah.
quest just to convince you to.
It's up
whatever.
to the imagination. That's up to
Yeah.
the player's imagination. That's what he said.
And I do know, and I know somebody said, well, it's a family game. Love is part of family as well. So that works still too.
Mhm.
Yep.
I agree. All right. Thank you for that question. That was a good question. Fun question.
We're gonna switch a little bit from Zelda. Tony is asking, there's had been speculation that Take-Two is showing up support for Nintendo and planning to bring games to Nintendo Switch too. What games do you want to see on the new system? Thank you, Tony, for your question.
I think all of them. All Take-Two games.
Bless you.
They can bring to Switch 2. They're gonna bring to Switch 2. This time around, Switch 2 is hot. It's hot
Mhm.
bread. It's hot bread. You know when you hot
Hot
bread,
like
you want
fire.
to catch it. You want to catch that hot bread when it's just out of the oven. That's when it tastes the best, right? A lot of developers are like saying, "Man, I got the Switch when it was cold. I had some really cold pizza with Switch, and I should have gotten on there before, right?" Seeing the install base that the Nintendo Switch has now, crazy install base, right? The support that it has, the developers are excited about it. There is no question that Take-Two is one of them. and they're gonna try to cash in as much as they can. So I see multiple of their video games coming to Switch. Maybe not day one, but you'll see them get jump once Switch to it after April 2nd. It's open season. You'll see a lot of information on not only Take Two but a whole bunch of developers too. I'm expecting Sony to jump in too with Spider-Man, the first one, and that's like a Hail Mary.
That would be.
I'm playing
great.
GTA Switch on launch or GTA 6 on launch, based
Real?
on their interview that they said was it yesterday. I think that's what you're referencing in this question.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they're like, yeah, we're gonna do stuff on the Switch. It's
Yeah,
Nintendo's
GTA
not for kids anymore. What is
GTA
Take Two's most not for kids game?
GTA,
5 and 6 are both coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Red Dead
I agree.
all of them.
I think both are coming. 5 and 6
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna go crazy on April 2nd.
for real. Thank you for that question, Tony.
I agree.
Thank you very much.
April 2nd. Oh,
April
yeah,
2nd.
April 2nd. Sorry.
Question for the panel. This is from Boomini. How do we get a non-Zelda fan to become a Zelda fan?
You can tune in every single week here at the Nintopics podcast to hear me ramble about Zelda, even if it's not the topic.
I think that's the best question. That's the that's the answer. That's the answer right there. That's the answer. That's mine.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo already did it with Breath of the Wild. They revolutionized everything. So everybody that was not playing Zelda, they started playing Zelda because of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. That's what that is. But I feel like Breath of the Wild more than Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, and the following question is going to answer this too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So, Jacob, when are they going to give an update on Zelda movie? Have they even started production, I wonder? They have.
I have like 3 to 7 videos on the channel with updates on everything regarding the production of the live action Zelda movie. I was actually on the website today. Production did start on January 6th. So we should be hearing of a cast or of anything, because guess what? Once production starts, there will be leaks, pictures taken of the sets of actors or whatever. Actors they go out of their way to hide or even refuse to talk, and I don't see a lot of chatter out there. That's why they're being able to keep it secret, because you don't see anybody asking them, "How is this?" Wes Ball gets the question every now and then, but the fact that they don't know about the cast, nobody has asked about anything. So the cast are not going to be questioned about the Zelda movie, so they don't know where to look. But eventually, they're going to have to start talking about the movie. This year, you'll hear about the movie for sure. This year.
I think so too.
And all I'm going to say also is
Exclusive.
Sabrina Carpenter stopped touring around October 2024 and isn't starting back up for 2025 until March.
Yeah.
So
Make
her Zelda. It's a slam dunk. Make her Zelda. Please.
No. Sabrina, wait, are you talking about the singer?
The actress singer, yes.
No.
Okay. Compromise. She could be a great fairy.
Yeah.
She has the outfits for it.
And she's a big Nintendo fan, and
Yeah, she's a big Nintendo fan.
Yeah,
I had
she
a
sings
pick
about
between a
Nintendo and
Nintendo
her.
fan and
She
a
likes
non-Nintendo fan.
espresso.
Nah.
She's been a
But
voice
she's a-
actor since she was like 8. She's been an actor in other stuff since she was whatever. And also,
I didn't know she was an actress.
She was in Phineas and Ferb back
Yeah,
in the day.
she was a voice actress and make her the voice of the Great Deku Tree.
And she was in the sequel series to Boy Meets World, Girl Meets
Girl
World.
Meets World.
Okay, she was okay. Now that I remember.
No.
Okay.
She was the girl
It's
who
just
was
that
meeting the
I
world.
see her as a singer, and I don't see
Listen.
that wouldn't be
Listen,
a good fit for
We
me.
have Tom
Zelda, no.
Holland and Zendaya formula. Tom Holland was some no-name guy as the main character for Spider-Man, and then they put him with the ex-Disney star, superstar singer model, and so successful. Take that formula, give us a no-name link.
No, that's
and
not
take
the
the ex-Disney star, superstar singer.
That's what I've said before.
That's not the formula. Because the formula for Tom Holland was pair him with Robert Downey Jr. and the rest of the Avengers first, and then give him his own movie. people get excited.
Doggy.
Well, it wasn't Zendaya who made the movie. It was Robert Downey Jr. who was also in Spider-Man 1, Homecoming.
He
So
was in Homecoming.
yeah. All right.
We
So
also have Henry Cavill as
movie-
Gandalf.
Oh,
hey, that's wait, let me guess. That's Zelda. Oh, that's Peach.
That's Peach.
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 There you go.
Oh, you're so
So
cool.
Peach.
Peach
With
is
my
like,
star.
Comes during the podcast and likes to say hi.
Cute.
Hi,
Aw,
Peach.
Thank you so much for that question.
Thank you, Jacob.
Jacob again.
So Greg, Gamer Boy, Mike, when is the next auto game? What?
Adult
The
game.
next adult game.
I mean,
I
all
don't know what adult game.
every game ever made can be played by adults. So if you're asking when's the next one, well, it's already out.
All right, then we have another one from Boomini. Lily, question: can we get Paul Gale Network and Joyce CJ to record our Zelda gameplays and upload them to their YouTube channels?
Oh, we first gotta get Joyce a YouTube channel, and then we can do it.
Yeah, my lights turned off for some reason. Oh, by the way, you can find a lot of gameplays on my channel.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
That is a plug. And another plug is that in the last podcast of the month, we are going to be playing against each other here on the podcast.
Yeah.
So if you are, if you want to see gameplay, want to see you guys play each other, and the last podcast of the month will be the Great Extravaganza versus Nintopics versus I don't know what to call it. I'm just gonna.
We'll figure it out.
No.
What's the next question?
Thank you, Boomini.
Thank you so much. Aaron, thank you so much for your question. Do you think black and white games will be on Switch 2 of Gen 5 of Pokemon? I think this is more.
Yes. We're gonna go ahead and speak it out to the atmosphere so that it can happen. Nintendo can listen to it. Go ahead, just go outside right now. Aaron, go outside right now and yell it, because sound never ends. It continues. Hopefully, that sound gets to Japan and they hear you, and then they can do it.
Guys, for real answer to that, I think make sure that you guys.
I mean, my answer was real. I wanted it to happen. I don't know.
Make sure you guys are also answering your surveys when Nintendo sends you surveys, and when you get to the comment section where you can say whatever you want. Just saying, that's a good place to throw out there. Hey, I would like this game to be remade or brought to the Switch or whatever the case may be.
All right. Yep. That's true. Answer your questions, Q&As, because that's the best way to get feedback. All right. Is that the end? That's the last question?
No.
Yep. Well,
Oh,
hopefully-
wait. I thought I had another one. No, I didn't. I'm sorry, guys. You read it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aaron, for that last question. Thank you, Lily, for taking care of the Q&A. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. So, my friends, it's now time for the plugs. Paul, now it's time for the plugs.
Now I don't have any left. No, just kidding. I am at Paul Gale Network on X and at Paul Gale Network on YouTube. Over on the YouTube channel of mine, I'm doing a countdown series every day from day one, which was January 16th, which was 76 days until the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. And I put up another 6-second clip every day. So you want to start your morning off right? You don't even know what day it is? Just go to the YouTube channel and let the shorts do it for you. It's better than a calendar. You get to see me in a different video game shirt every day for 76 days in a row, counting down to Nintendo Switch. Will I do something unique when it's 72 hours remain? Kind of like a little Majora's Mask treat? Perhaps. What's my last shirt? I actually don't know. I have some very unique ones that are very rare. I might save those for the end, or I might kind of scatter them throughout. Also, if you want to see a little tease of what the live-action Zelda movie looks like, go over to my YouTube channel now, or look at this link later after you check out Zach's post-stream Smash Bros. Playing event. I just dropped the link, and you'll see what Link might look like in the Zelda film, what kind of real, tangible, practical effects are capable of these days beyond just the CG. This is the type of stuff you could be seeing, and this is just
Nintendo, listen, and then take it down.
this is just a glimpse. You know, Wes Ball liked my post from a couple of months ago when I did the Flaming Master Sword, and he commented on it. That's real. So
All right.
I think I'm giving some inspiration there. And over on X, if you want to keep up with video game news and sales data, I'd like just dropped today the hardware and software sales from Nintendo Switch and PlayStation and Xbox in Japan, and you'll see that Nintendo's doing quite well, actually better than last year, respectively. That's what I've got.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Lily, where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube as Lily Hyrule. I've been live streaming lately. Next week or Monday, we're gonna go to Lanero mining facilities in Skyward
nice.
Sword. So we're not getting close to beating the game. It's quite a long story, so you're in for a treat for that one. And I've been, for those of you that have missed the gameplays, I am going to re-upload them or edit them. Kind of a post-production kind of thing, so you can go and watch them there, so you'll see exactly what I'm talking about as soon as I start uploading them. And you know, I am streaming on other platforms, but YouTube is my mainline, my main one. So whenever you want to go to, if you don't like YouTube, you can always go on Twitch, you can go on Twitter. I'm there. It's just that my main one is YouTube. And then you can find me on every social media. I do tend to share a lot of Zelda memes on Facebook and Threads and Twitter and all those other platforms. So if you have a good meme, just send it my way. I'll be glad to share it with the community. And I'll soon be sharing. I'll soon be sharing as well, fun arts and cosplay. So make sure to send them my way. I'll be more than glad to go ahead and share it with the community as well. But yeah, that's me.
All right. Thank you so much, Lily. Go ahead and follow Lily. She's playing. I sometimes go lurking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. So go watch Lily play. Skyward Sword, right? Skyward Sword.
I'm starting with Skyward Sword. And once we get to Ocarina of Time, I'm gonna set up a poll on YouTube for you guys to pick which path you want me to follow on the timeline.
Oh, awesome. All right. And over to Hollywood.
Hey everybody, it is great being here talking Zelda and nerd stuff. I know normally you don't see me as rabid as I was today, but I love the Zelda lore. So thank you so much for entertaining that. Thank you, Mike, for giving us the platform to discuss this stuff. And you can find me here every Friday night, and then after that, I stream Smash for the post-pod party is what I call it. But today, it's my birthday party. It's not the post-pod party. It's just Zach's birthday party. And it's still a post-pod party. But yeah, you can find me at my handle right here on Twitter/X and everywhere else at Zach Hendricks Media. I'm pasting the link in the chat for my stream.
Can we sing Zach's happy birthday for tomorrow?
Yes.
Come on, Chad. Also, let's say happy birthday to Zach.
Happy birthday, Zach.
Happy birthday, man.
Yay.
Happy you were born day.
Dude, you're 31, right? 31,
Yep.
31, 31, dude. That's so to be young, man. I remember those days, the good old days.
The good old days, man, before my knees start acting up.
I'm telling you, right? The knee is what's it with the knee? What is it with the knee?
Because we had all them drop it low songs and dip it low and drop it low.
For real, right?
Drop it.
Like
I just want to know an interesting fact about 31.
Let me see that link.
It's
let me
30 fun, guys.
Let me get that
What's
link.
the fact? What's the fact, Paul?
I wanted to become a first-time dad at the age of 31 so that when my firstborn child would become 32, I would be Nintendo 64.
Oh. Clip it.
What?
I planned it since I was 13 years old.
Oh my god. Okay.
That is a whole
Like,
nother level.
One day,
That's
pretty
ever
impressive.
since 1996, I was like, I need to be twice as old and 64 and 32. So bam.
That is I'm not gonna comment on that. I'm just gonna move on move
That's
forward.
math.
That's dedication. That's what
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
You know what, Paul? I think we ought to dare. It's time to dare you to get a Nintendo tattoo.
You mean
Yeah.
like this one?
I was ready.
I was ready.
I was so ready.
You are
One of
ready
these
for
days,
that.
I won't be joking. Probably.
I thought you low key had like the whole Hylian crest on your back. I thought that's what you were getting ready to show us.
The map of Hyrule. Every Korok location.
What?
Oh my gosh, Mike, that's what we're gonna do when we go to the thing. We're
Awesome.
gonna get Nintendo matching tattoos.
For real.
Also, for my outro, I'm gonna do my outro real quick, and I'm gonna make sure I answer Clifford's question. We'll get an answer. But I am Joycey J. You can follow me on Twitter at DJ Joycey. I don't do anything else interesting, so that's about that. And shout out to Clifford Favors.
All right. So
Real Mike, one sec.
wait.
I just wanted
It
to answer this question real quick. Oh, you can't hear me?
Super chat.
Yeah, it cuts off. So then I don't know where. Cause I feel like you're finished, but then you're really not because it cuts off. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm like sitting like right on top of the mic, trying
it's
to
not
make sure
you,
you hear me.
It's not you. It's me. It's the system.
Gotta love internet, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, but shout out to Clifford Favors. Good point about Sabrina. Do you think we could use celebrity IMBDs as clues to who might be in the next Zelda movie?
You can use it as a clue, but IMDb is surprisingly inaccurate. People do the movie scoops all the time, then it turns out the actor's not even in the movie, even though it's listed on their IMDb.
Yeah.
Matthew, what's his name? The Doctor Who, the 11th Doctor, or the 12th. He was in Morbius. He was listed as Palpatine in Star Wars Episode 9 on his IMDb and on Star Wars' IMDb before the movie came out, and that obviously did not happen. So, it is a clue, but kind of like the patents, you gotta nothing's a
connect the
fact
dots.
until you hear about it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Agree.
Zach. Sorry, Tracy. You were gonna answer also the question.
Agreed.
Oh no, I just wanted to make sure we read it off because
Okay.
we'll get to talking and we'll sign off and completely forget about it if we're not careful.
Thank you so much, Clifford. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clifford.
All right. Everybody plugged in. Everybody plug.
Plug it in.
Alright.
Plug
Except
it
you,
in.
Mike. Go
All
ahead.
right. So thank you guys for watching the Ning Topic Podcast Fridays, February 7th or something. And you can find me here every single day on Ning Topic, not Ning Topic, on the Odyssey channel, Monday to Friday, Nintendo Switch 2 news and other news stuff. Fridays here live. I am starting to live stream a little more, so stay tuned for live stream schedule, which I'm still working on. Other than that, just getting ready for the greatest summer in indie game history, and that's basically it, right? We're working hard to make things happen. Indie Mania happening this June on IGN. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be fun, and I cannot wait. It's Happy Switch 2 year, and we're waiting. We're just everybody waiting for Switch 2 to happen. And that's about it. So I thank you everyone for watching the entire podcast, for being part of the Odyssey, and of course, part of Lily and Zach and Holgale and Joy CJ on X, Twitter. And we'll see you guys in the next one. But before we let you go, we got two things we gotta let you know.
Hey, Mike.
What?
Mike,
I
you're
love how I
muted.
just ignored that.
You're muted, and instead of you talking, the stream just went.
No, that was me on purpose. I said
Oh.
I said we got two things I gotta let you know, man. I went like, I'm tired.
Mike,
I'm super tired.
Oh, I thought you were muted because I was looking at the YouTube preview, so you were still like talking on that side.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Real super quick. You don't have to read it out loud, but read our chat real quick.
In our chat real quick. Like our private chat?
Yes.
Mhm. That's why I
Oh.
said don't read it out loud.
Oh yeah, that's done. I did it from the beginning.
Yay!
Yeah. All right, my friends. Stay tuned for the Hendrix celebration birthday party at the end podcast playing Smash Bros. Birthday Party. And so, without further ado, never give up. And let me see if I can find the music here instead of that little
You made it. There's no better place to end your week and start your weekend. Now take a deep breath and let
Thank you for
go.
watching That Ain't Topic Podcast. We love you, chat. You are amazing. And those who listening, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, never give up. And journey on. Journey on.
Journey on my wayward son.
Sorry.
Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Me
Take
too.
care.
Zach, you ready?
Yep.
Move your way.